How is everyone doing tonight? Remember to play the intro. Shout out to Hive Mind Collectibles for that. Um, reprints are here, right? I have a couple little, not scripted, but I have a couple rants, couple topics that I'm likely going to cover. Last week I did my first off-site on a different location, in a different location live stream. That went well. That was on Pokemon Day at Ponga's house before we did the Fanatics live stream. Had a great weekend there. Got to see Ponga, PK, got to see Vandy. Um, Actually last night had a surprise visitor call me up in the afternoon and then pop in. We met up local to me at the Turning Stone Casino, so maybe we can talk about who visited, how that went. But as always, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I will stay live until I get through the entire chat, as I always do. But yeah, reprints. Let's start there and then see where the night takes us. I do have handy, if I can find it. So shout out to Eli, Pokemart USA. I believe this stuff came from him. I am a much smaller fish when it comes to distro. I don't get early access to that information. I have two distributors that I've had for a decade each, and I've bought 7 figures of stuff with them over the decade. And I'm like down on the totem pole. I see what crumbs fall to me from all the big fish up higher. But anyways, apparently we are getting, I'm always mixed up here, Surging Sparks booster displays. I believe those are MSRP of 160, 164. That's what that would have to be. So booster displays, 36-pack booster boxes, Paldean Fates booster bundles, which those already came to some extent, as far as I understand. I did get some of those. Let me pull up my email. I'm not going to show the email, but I will tell people what I bought and what I got. Only one of my 2 distributors offered me those. It's weird what comes where and when. Let me see if I can find my invoice. I don't know when this is even from. This email doesn't even look familiar for me to me, but the Paldean Fates booster bundles, I bought one. I bought a 1 count, a 10 count display back in late January. So it's been over a month now. I don't know if that was like old stock that this distributor had held on to, invested in, if you will. But I paid $449 for a Paldean Fates booster bundle display back in late January. Was that a reprint, restock? Was that inventory held back? I have no clue, but I paid significantly more than MSRP because that's what it was offered to me. It was enough of a discount below market that I went for it. I don't think I think it's becoming less of a secret that distributors are offering product to people at significantly above MSRP in some instances. I think Brian got some pushback, got some heat, Okiani, when he talked about being offered Prismatic Evolutions ETBs for 95. I've been offered Prismatic Evolutions ETBs from my distributor for 95, 100, and it's like, what is this? Is this held back from the initial wave? Is this reprint, restock? I don't know what it is, but it's like BUY or BYE. The same thing applies to me, right? I can't tell my consumers that like market price is market price, BUY or BYE, and then I can't get mad up the chain if they do that to me. So it's like they offer me a product at a price and I buy it or I don't buy it. And that's one of the unknowns with this stuff. Like, how much is coming? Will I have, Dan, order as much as you want? Dan, we have a pallet for you of each. Or will it be, hey, Dan, Surging Sparks market price is like what, 260, 270 right now? Dan, you can get up to 4 boxes for $220 a piece. I have no idea. So all this drama, all this the last few days, last week or whatever, speculation about a reprint, I still haven't heard from my 2 distributors that I've had for a decade. I haven't heard from either of them directly, hey, Dan, you're getting this at this price. So if you're looking for like new novel information, unfortunately, I don't have it. I'm just going to talk you through what feels like a fairly confirmed reprint at this point. Again, Eli was given this by one of his distributors, so he is a much bigger fish in that area, so I will believe it. Maybe it doesn't even come to me. There are times that the bigger accounts get stuff offered to them, they gobble it all up, and the crumbs don't even fall. They vacuum up the crumbs as they fall out of the air. So Twilight Masquerade booster displays, Paldia Evolved. This is an image from a distributor that I don't have. I've never seen them. These descriptions, these titles specifically, all of them use a slightly different one. But Paldia Evolved, City in Flames, and then Kanto Mini Friends tins. Kanto Friends Mini tins. I don't even know what's in that. I'm not good as far as like what's in each tin. But yeah, those are the things that are being reprinted. Dan, what does this mean for my investments? Dan, what does this mean for the hobby? Are we all going to zero? Is it gonna drop the prices by $1 each box for a day, and then it's just gonna rocket to the moon even further? I don't know. Your favorite YouTuber doesn't know. Nobody knows. I don't know how many I'm going to be offered. It's likely that if I'm offered an unlimited amount at original price, I would buy a lot of them. How much is a lot? I have no idea. I would probably, I pay about $92.50 for booster box. I would take a quick inventory. I would see what I have for each one of these. It's not much. I don't have a whole lot of any of them left because the prices have outpaced what I thought they would or should in the current time frame that these sets are in their cycle. So when the price goes higher than I think it should be for something, I tend to sell. And when something goes lower than it should be, I say should because it's all arbitrary. This stuff all has an intrinsic value of 0. But I buy a lot of this stuff and I keep Pong and PK in stock with it for the live streams. But other than that, I have the pallet that I'm doing with my dad. Pallet 1 is done, sealed up, stored. Pallet 2 is underway. And aside from what's on the pallets, the 2 pallets for these sets, I don't have much. I was going through it earlier today. So I had 2 cases left of Twilight Masquerade, not tied to a pallet, not like locked in already in my investments 5-6 years out, 2030. So I sent them both to Probstein today. I had 2 Twilight Masquerade left, so there was a lot of talk. Here's the walk. What are you doing, Dan? I had 2 that were not spoken for. I can actually pull up. I can pull up how many I have total. So I'm not gonna spill the beans. In May, I will do a 1-year review on how the palette has performed. I don't want to spill the beans on it early. It's obscene how well the palette is doing. But palette 1 predated Twilight Masquerade. So there is 0 Twilight Masquerade on palette 1. Palette 2, there is 4 cases of Twilight Masquerade. So as of this morning, I only had 6, I guess 4, because 2 are my dad's on palette 2. We're 50-50 partners on that. 2 are mine, and then I had 2 aside from that. So I had like 6 counting my dad's 2, all in on Twilight Masquerade cases. I'm gambling a little bit. I'm gambling on the fact that I hope I get a bit. I hope I get a decent amount. I hope I get 5-10 cases minimum. I mean, I would love to get 40 cases. If I was offered at $90 a box, $540 cases, if I was offered 40 cases of all of these sets, in today's market, I would probably find a way to make it work. I highly doubt that I'll be offered that much because I didn't get that much initial allocation. I guess between both distributors, I'm close to that vicinity, but I would highly doubt that I will be getting anywhere near what my initial allocation was, and that was more like 30 cases for most of these sets. But if I was offered that at $92.50, if I doubled up on what my initial allocation was, I would take it all. Absolutely. If they come and they say, hey, Twilight Masquerade, let me, actually my spreadsheet shows here. So Twilight Masquerade is $226 a box right now. If they say, hey, Dan, you can get all the cases you want at $200 a box. Given that I just sent 2 of them to Probstein to be auctioned, I might buy 4 or 6 cases and presume that the price will just dip a little bit and then bump back up in the short to medium term, and kind of regret having sent those 2 to Probstein. But at the end of the day, it's all speculation. I have no true solid information. The main thing that I do, I say this all the time, the main thing that I know that I can do, let me cover a couple more of the sets, and then we'll go further. But Surging Sparks, I have 0 on pallet 1 because pallet 1 closed in May of 2024. Surging Sparks didn't exist. I have 4 cases on Twilight Masquerade that by rule I cannot touch till 2030 because that's the rule of the pallets, and I obey the pallet rule. Pallet law. I only have 4 cases locked up that I can't touch. I had, similar to Twilight Masquerade, I had 2 more cases. Where do you think those went? The box of Surging Sparks is $263 right now. If you had told me, I actually made a short like 8 months ago saying that there would be a Surging Spark, that there would probably be a Surging Sparks box that was like $300 a box. We have multiple knocking on that door. But anyways, I sent 2 cases of Surging and 2 cases of Twilight to Probstein just to be auctioned. It's like, I feel like they're going to go down some amount. Will they go down enough to, he's going to net me 95% payout because they're going to be above $1,000 a piece? Will it make sense to like do that work and then have to buy one back? Maybe, maybe not. Hindsight will make things easy. Hindsight will be like, Dan, you're a dummy. Why did you do that? They offered you limit 3 boxes per week at 90% of market price. You just lost product and now it goes up forever, sealed, whatever. Or it'll be like, this whole palette thing is stupid. 5 years from now, 2030, Pokemon's dead because they overprinted everything and it's just gone and done. And we're in a Great Depression. We're in rehashing the 1930s and the 2030s. Great Depression 2.0. That could happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Hence why I'm locking up pallets for 6 years, 5 years remaining. These are all the thoughts that go through my mind. Do not copy me. I am one guy with one set of opinions, with one set of inventory. I'm just doing my best to navigate the waters. But this is where I was going to go a minute ago. Oh, let's cover the last couple. Obsidian Flames. So I have 6 on pallet 2. I have 7 on pallet 1. So I have 13 cases locked away on pallets. I additionally had 9. I had 9 cases of Obsidian Flames. I sent 3. So I have 17 on the pallets and I have 6 not on the pallets. Like, some people have more, some people have less. Some people have more that aren't selling anything. Some people have less that are selling everything. I'm just one. This whole YouTube channel is just one dude. What he's doing, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing my best out here. We'll see what was right, what was wrong. I put it all out there. Full disclosure, full transparency, where I can. And then Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved, I have 4 cases on pallet 2, and I have 4 cases on pallet 1. So I only have 8 cases of that. But that one is, how much is it? It's $220 a box. So again, if they say, hey Dan, I had 0 of that. Aside from the pallets, I had 0. So I didn't have anything to send out to sell immediately. I can't because it's all locked on the pallet. Where most my attention, where most my energy goes. So I'm going to drop down the reprints right now. And this is what I was starting to get into 5 minutes ago, but then I had to cover the rest of these. Those have some effect on my long-term cash flow, my long-term thing. But I don't give them that much thought and energy because I have no clue what's happening. I have no clue what's happening. Nobody does until we find out. I know this is not going to be the most recent one. Yeah, this is almost a month-old hot buy list. But where I put my main energy, my main focus is here. These are not, I shouldn't even leave that on the screen that long because those are not valid prices as of today. Why don't I just update it? Why, I'm here. We're all here. Why don't I just update it to the most up-to-date one from Monday? I have the ability. No, I don't have the most recent one. Where is it? I probably got to grab it from Discord. I have a platform and I have an ability to sell product for 110, 115%. Not sealed booster cases, not sealed booster boxes. I have a platform and I have the ability to sell loose booster packs for a decent premium over market. And I can pay Pong and PK and I can pay the platform fees. And I can like do business. That's good business, make solid margin, and just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. The amount of effort and energy and time that goes into like buying a $90 box. When a $90 box in 3 months goes to $230, yes, you can make tons of money. That is not normal. That is not what historically happens. But generally speaking, it's like the numbers you have to look at, numbers you have to think about. Like if I'm auctioning these things as of today's prices, they're gonna auction. Robstein's gonna net me out 95% of an auction price, probably 5% below a buy now price. Maybe I'll get 90% of a buy now price. No risk of return, no risk of like, ooh, that stop take looks sketchy. No risk of, oh, the corner on my cardboard box, you didn't double box it, it's dinged up. I don't deal with any of that selling through a consignment house. So that's why I do most of my sealed cases that way these days. But will the price actually drop enough? Will I be offered it on replacement basis low enough to make the sale actually make sense? I don't know, and I don't care that much, frankly. Like, if it ends up being that I only doubled my money, this is the way that I think about it. If I only doubled my money in LD Evolved, you're talking 2 years. Surging Sparks, you're talking barely 2 months. You're talking 3 or 4 months. If I, in hindsight, a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, if I look back and I say, what a fool, Surging Sparks is $1,000 a box now, that will be a good problem to have. I will be perfectly fine bearing that cross. I will like deal with that problem because I'll be doing pretty fine on all my other Pokemon inventory. That's the way that I think about it. The pallets are like a thing that force me to lock stuff away because I've been in with Distro since 2014. I've been in Phantom Forces I bought pre-Distro. Primal Clash was the first set that I bought through Distro. You know how many boxes of Primal Clash I have left? You know how many cases of Primal Clash I have left? How many, when did Primal Clash roll? It would have been 2015, so 10 years. You know how many boxes and cases I have 10 years later? 0. I have 1 Evolutions booster box there. Other than that, as of today, I have 0 cases of XY era. 0 cases of Sun and Moon era. 0 boxes. So 1 box. I mean, 0 aside from 1. That means I have 1 box. I have 1 box of XY era. I have 0 boxes of Sun and Moon era. This one I just keep because of like the history. I'm gonna keep 1 Grey Felt hat too, for the memes, for the history, for the memories, I guess. Same way I keep 1 Evolutions box that I'll never sell. But the pallets are a way to like force me to keep stuff longer because so many times in this hobby I've been faced with like, these boxes should only be this. Let me sell everything because it's too expensive. It feels like it's gonna come down. I'm constantly feeling that over and over. We'll see what happens. It's like the amount of analysis paralysis, the amount of energy, the amount of thought. And if we're having fun, we're having fun. But some people seem to like really struggle and like agonize over these decisions. Like, what should I do? What should I do? All kinds of stress. And like I chucked a few cases. Maybe they go up, maybe they go down. Maybe I can replace them for a lot cheaper. In hindsight, it all gets obvious, but unfortunately, I don't have hindsight as of right now. So yeah, that's my like spiel. Less than 20 minutes for my Dan rant to start. As always, ask me questions in the chat. If you put a stop sign emoji, if you put question mark, question mark, question mark, if you put all caps, question, makes it easier for me to find them. But I will do my best on finding them all anyways and putting them on screen. I think that's everything I had to say. I think that's the whole rant. I'm gonna pour off the remainder of my Coca-Cola, and then I'm going to get to the live chat. Dan, I don't know what I'm doing. Where's my oh no, I don't have my popped out chat. Hold on, I gotta get my popped out. I thought I did. But yeah, I guess I should. Where'd I put that? I didn't even update it. All that ranting and rambling, and I didn't even update. But let me update my buy list so if people are interested, they have that. I might as well end it with. It's still not the right one. Hold on, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. There you go. So if anyone's interested, or the live streams, this is Dan where he knows he can operate. This is Dan like doing good business, making margin at high volume. If you're interested, I buy these packs every Monday on my website, catchemallcollectibles.com. Click the buy list button. I'm buying thousands and thousands of packs. LD Evolved, I've not looked at my messages in a few hours. I anticipate that I might be being offered a fair bit These all, they're listed without limits, but like there are reasonable limits behind them. Always, I will take at least 1,000 packs of all the sets I put on my hot buy list, Shining Legends included, if you got it out there. But if you're interested in selling to me, I can pay goods and services up front, and you can ship to my PO box, or you can ship to my PO box, and then I pay you with friends and family, or however you want to be paid. Zelle, ACH, Wire. I do both all the time. Most people opt for friends and family, but if it's too high risk, if you don't trust, it's a fully insured process as long as you add signature. So my little self promo, if you want to sell packs to me that I sell on the live streams, it's there. I'm a buyer at those prices. If you find someone to pay more, great, sell to them. If you find someone to pay more and they're a big headache and a hassle, which I've had some people reach out to me like, oh man, I wish I took 20 cents less a pack because I shipped to this guy, the package got lost, he's not insured. I've heard those stories. Do whatever you want to do. I'm here as a buyer if you're interested. I'm here as a seller if you're interested too. Every night on Fanatics, if not, perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm going to appreciate you, Donnie Slabs. Donnie Slabs has been a multiple time seller. Why my highlight's not working? Yeah, Donnie Slabs. There's, I mean, every week I've been buying about. We ripped 4,000 packs three weeks ago, I believe. Every week I've been buying about 5,000 packs. About 5,000 packs every week. $20,000 to $30,000, $40,000 every week on packs for the live streams. Let's see. Turning red. This was Dio's cards way before I went live. This was at 2:40 p.m. about when I scheduled it. Appreciate you popping in, dropping some comments. We were not live at 3:11 p.m. when you messaged this, UAP, but nice to see you. There's Hivemind. Hivemind, the architect of the Fisherman intro and Red Light intro himself. We'll see if the Red Light intro has to happen tonight. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it can be a cool night, calm night. We'll see though. Unit says, reprints. Sounds like I need to open another credit card and max it out. I would not advise that, but you are an adult and you can do as you so please. I've got to show my buckets when E-Unit is memeing about E-Unit's gonna meme about credit cards. I'm gonna show the buckets. I don't tell people what to do, what not to do. I would not and do not buy Pokemon cards on margin with other people's money. But everyone can do as they wish. So how's it going? The experience share. Cardboard Hustle's buying more Paldea. I'm buying all of them. If I get offered all of them, especially at $92.50, it's a no-brainer. No-brainers a dangerous thing to say. But where I stand with the live stream selling, where I have a feel on the market, might be right, might be wrong. I would take up to my original allocation. I would take whatever my liquidity would allow at $92.50 for sure. Did you hear the reprinting of Evolving Skies? I did not hear that. But one thing you need to be careful about. One thing, it started like a week ago, I believe. It started a week ago that there was a rumor of the reprints. And there wasn't really any sources. One thing that'll happen is there'll be a rumor of reprints. And mainstream media news is the same way. One source, which ended up being a good source, like, we still don't even know. I feel like since Eli posted it, since multiple people are confirming now, it feels real. 95% chance, 99% chance it's gonna happen. But the issue is, going back to Evolving Skies, the amount of times on Twitter, on Discord, on Instagram, on whatever website, YouTube, there would be a confirmed reprint coming. Appreciate you, Earl Huff, for subscribing. Oh no, I didn't have my sound on for that. Apologies, you guys missed out the fisherman sounds. But the amount of videos that I saw, and I didn't listen to them all, but I listened to some of them. The amount of, like, a tweet gets put out there, a Reddit post, an Instagram post, a YouTube video, as the original source with no, like, actual source, no screenshot. But, like, to give Eli credit, he actually showed, hey, my distributor is offering me this, and here's the prices, here's the items. But what happens is 50 videos, 100 videos get made referencing the one tweet. And of the 100 videos that get made, maybe 10 directly reference the tweet. And then 90 of them don't reference the tweet. They reference the 10 videos that reference the tweet. So it's like we get like tertiary and higher levels degrees of separation from the original source. And the amount of times that Evolving Skies was getting a confirmed reprint that never came, you just got to be careful. You got to be careful making any major decisions based on what may or may not be true. Like until my distributor emails me, texts me, calls me, and says, "Hey Dan, we have 1 case, 6 cases, 50 cases of product for you." Until that happens, until they run my credit card and the stuff shows up, it's not real. Not real to me. I don't do pre-orders. I don't do, like, I'm clearly acting on the information to some extent. I sold several cases. I sent several cases for consignment today due to the information. But you just got to know that, like, not everything you hear is always going to pan out. And some people pumped the brakes on it when they first heard it, which was reasonable. Maybe some of them pumped the brakes more forcefully than they should have. Maybe some were like in a slightly attacking tone towards the original source. And I don't know the original source. I can't even remember the username. But supposedly, I've not verified this, so Dan's being bad, talking about things that he hasn't verified directly. Supposedly, the account that leaked these initially has leaked other reprints that ended up not happening. So, like, it's reasonable to question things, but it's just wild what qualifies as, like, news and then gets reported on 50 times over. We're not unique, though, in the Pokemon space. This happens everywhere. This happens literally on, like, mainstream media websites. They cite something and someone else cites them, and then there's a chain of dominoes that fall. Everyone was wrong because no one did any actual journalistic work and like vetted sources and things like that. It happens in, like, real life too, not just Pokemon. So I just wanted to throw a little bit of a rant out there about that. I see the questions coming. I will get to you. I take them in order. So I'm currently at 9:02 p.m. and I'm working onwards. I appreciate everyone's patience. I will try to catch up as quickly as possible. What stores are worth checking for PE boosters this Friday, and what times? I know GameStop is 11 a.m. I have no idea. I don't buy from stores like that. I buy from the general public through my buy list every Monday. I buy through my distributors occasionally. But, like, the closest I'll go to buying somewhere that consumers buy is, like, Hills Wholesale Gaming. I've bought through them a couple times. I've bought through Hills. I've bought through eBay, but it's rare. It's more rare. I'll do more private buys at 70 to 90% of market, depending on what I'm buying. But I haven't looked at Hills to see. So Hills is currently out of stock on Paldea Evolved booster boxes. They don't even have any. It would be interesting to see, like, Obsidian. It'd be interesting to see if they, like, drop their price on any of these. I don't pay that close of attention though. Right now, Obsidian Flames at Hills is 190. I don't know what it was yesterday. I don't know what it'll be tomorrow. But yeah, just be interesting to see if and when they hear that they're getting, like, 1,000 more boxes or 1,000 more cases or one more case. They might adjust their pricing, right? But yeah, I don't know. Donnie Slabs just got the first tag pristine 10 stamp box Pikachu back from grading. Congrats. That's probably gonna be huge. That's awesome. Guy says, "Are we all screwed?" I think we will survive this. Do you think reprints will lower prices? Maybe. It all depends on the amount, right? If I get allocated one box at 90% of MSRP, it might flatten the prices for a week or two, and then they'll just likely go back to the trajectory they were on. If I get 40 cases of every set at $92.50, yes, it will drastically drop the prices. For how long? I don't know. Like, the answer to every sub question of this question is I don't know. So it's just so silly to think about it overly. Like, why spend so much time and energy worrying about this? And I'm affected to the tune of, like, many 5 figures. I was saying earlier, I have 13 pallets of Obsidian on pallets. Those are over 1,000 a case. That's 13, 15 grand right there, just in Obsidian Flames. I'm affected by this, but I always say one thing: work where you have control. Worry about things that you have control of and affect you. This affects me, but I don't have control of it, and I don't have information about it. So I just put most of my energy, most of my effort towards where, like, like if you can pre-grade cards and just make margin grading, buy raw, grade, make money. Just do that. Just iterate on the things that make you money. I iterate on this, and in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, if someone comes to me with 10,000 packs of Paldia Evolve for $5 a piece, I'm gonna keep in the back of my mind, I'm getting some amount of that through distro, probably. I will be slightly more cautious in the quantities that I take. Like, I'm not saying fully discard the information and do nothing with it, but I'm saying, like, you have such little information to work with that you need to just work with it proportionally to your confidence in what you have. And that is almost zero. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I mean, I know it makes sense. I just don't know if I convey the message well enough to make it make sense to you. The box break went really well. Unfortunately, the box was like not amazing. We hit spoilers, I guess, if you don't want spoilers. I don't know who's going to go back and watch a Fanatics live stream replay, but they do have them. So if you want to watch a Fanatics live stream replay, it's there, the whole stream. We opened a Jungle First Edition booster box with Ponga on site in Chicago. A Jolteon was the only evolution, and no Snorlax. We pulled 2 Kangaskhan's, which are a lot if they're 10s, but like the silvering in that box was not amazing. Some were worse than others, some were better than others. Whitening on some of the edges, like a lot of the cards probably came out. Hopefully, most will be 9s. I don't think I saw one that should get a 10, but like grading companies being grading companies, who knows? There could be a 10 in there. There's gonna be some 8s too, though. There's gonna be some 8s. I actually have right in front of me one that I bought recently. You probably won't be able to see it here. It's gonna be but this is a PSA 8. It's like pack fresh, but it has really bad silvering around the edges, and that's how a lot of the ones in that box were, unfortunately. But it was a good time. As far as like financials behind it, I broke even on the box basically. It's a tougher set to rip on stream than bases, less hype, no Charizard chase. But it was fun. It was a good time. Broke even. Got to sell a bunch of stuff. High GMV, low net, very, very low net, maybe no net, but it was fun. Do you think reprints will bring more supply to the market? Thank you, Mr. Kyoke Bacon, for your excellent question. I believe yes. If more supply is brought to the market, then more supply will be brought to the market. Yes. But it's all Kai's memeing. Kai's memeing for sure. But the question is when. There's more questions like this answer of yes, reprints are coming. These sets. It spawns more questions than it answers. It answers like, are reprints coming? Yes. No one's satisfied. No one's satisfied with that. It's like when, where, is it all, well, it's booster boxes, so it's probably not going to be Walmart. It's probably not going to be Best Buy, but maybe they get some too. Maybe they get some amount of blisters. Maybe they get 3-pack blisters. Maybe, I don't know. And it's like when, where, how much, when's the next one coming? When's the next one coming after that? There's more questions than answers. So yeah. At that rate, you are investing at our rate, Dan. I don't know that I understand that statement. Do I need to start paying off my credit cards now, or will product prices hold? Please advise. I'm not telling anyone what to do, but what I do personally is governed by this. Set realistic goals, smart goals, build an emergency fund, employer-sponsored matching funds, pay down high interest, moderate interest debt. So way before you start buying Pokemon, like over here, save for other goals and advanced methods. I would call Pokemon, for me personally, an advanced method, and I don't do the purple until I've done the green, until I've done, like this is the hierarchy, the order in which I flow. So me personally, until this bucket's overflowing into this one, I'm not buying Pokemon until all that stuff is done, personally. What you do is up to you. There's a lot of people, in hindsight, I know people did this, and people were rewarded. Until people get punished, people are going to be doing crazy things. And right now, crazy things are being rewarded. If you had a net worth of 0, and you somehow had access to $50,000 of a line of credit card, 30% interest rate, if you put Surging Sparks pre-orders at $100 a pop on your credit card and carried them at 30% interest, 30% annual interest, not monthly, 30% annual interest, you would have made money. You would have made what I would deem like an objectively bad decision to buy such a speculative thing as Pokemon cards on a 30% credit card. But for the math of it, math it out, you would have made money. You're put 50 grand in at 100 bucks. It ended at 220 a box, 230 a box right now. After fees and everything, you could sell it for almost a double up. You were rewarded for making a bad decision. Just like last night, I went to the casino. I went to the casino with my special guest that visited me. We almost went live on YouTube. I almost had a live stream last night with Mr. Jake from Pokenomics right here. He was passing through, so he stopped in. Had a good night. It was quick. Like he was in late 8:30 after the kids' bedtime. They were kind of bummed because I told them one of my friends was coming, and it's like, oh crap, he's coming after their bedtime and he's leaving before they wake up. But anyways, he came at like 8:30. We went to the Turning Stone, got dinner. We played blackjack for like an hour and a half. I made 95 bucks. My average bet was like 50. I was going pretty hard. I hit a lucky, I mean, it's all lucky. I hit a match the dealer for $425 just before I went bust. I was just about to lose all my money and all $400 that I bought in with. And then I hit 425. I built it up to like 550, 600. And then I was $5 away from a purple chip. I cashed it out $495. It was annoying to not be able to get the purple chip. But anyways, that whole story. So like when I bet on the side bet, match the dealer, I believe I had 2 9s. I'm gonna make up the suits because I don't remember the suits. I think I had like I remember actually. I had I don't remember the suits, but I remember the cards for sure. I had 2 9s. One was diamonds, one was clubs maybe, and the dealer had a 9 of diamonds. So I hit a 17-1 on a $25 bet, and it paid $425, and it saved me from bankruptcy. It saved me from not bankruptcy, from losing all my money. And that $25 side bet was wrong and dumb. It made me money, but it was dumb. It was negative EV inherently by math. I think that side bet specifically at that casino is like a negative 6% EV or something. If you bet $10,000 on that over time, you would be expected to lose $600. Like that's just what it means. That's what the math is. Some up, some down. Like that's the way that it works. In hindsight, I was not right to make that bet. I was really lucky to make that bet. I'd been betting. It's funny because I'd been betting $10 on that side bet all night. I ran out of $5 chips, so all I had was $25 chips, and I'm just like, boom, and then it hits. The first time I did a $25 side bet. That whole like story that I had there, the whole point of that was like, just because you made money doesn't mean you were right. But people get rewarded for things, and then they think they were right to do it. And I know the math. Like I'm good at math. I just like gambling. It's entertaining. It's entertaining to have $400 and go down to 50, almost lose it all, and then go back to 600. It's just fun. You see the personalities at the table. You have a couple beers. Like it was a good time. But I know what I'm doing. I know that the odds are stacked against me. And people make objectively bad decisions. They get rewarded, and then they make bigger ones, and then they make bigger ones, and then they make bigger ones. And sometimes they never get punished. Hashtag never punished. But sometimes they eventually do. Sometimes it catches up with them, and they get wiped out. They get wiped out. And I'm never going to get wiped out. I went to the casino with a budget. I went to the casino with like, I'm not going to lose more than X. X was a decently high number, and we only like I was close to losing $400, which I would have been fine with. But I knew what was going on. People that buy $100 Surging Sparks booster box pre-orders on their credit card think they know what's going on. They think in it. The confidence people get with hindsight. It's like, oh, I knew I was going to hit 17-1 match the dealer. No, if I had known it, I would have done the $100 max bet on that, and I would have got $1,700 for it. Or, yeah, it's just silly. It's silly the confidence people get. Absolutely, Herblore, it was a sucker side bet. But it's gambling. I'm there to have a good time. I'm not, like, necessarily there. If I make money, great. I have a better time when I make money. But I know the math that I'm up against, and it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to me. But, yeah, let me... Here we go. Patreon exclusive. Japanese reprint info. When reprint lands, box go down. Next day, box go up. I mean, sometimes a reprint hits, and this is actually an interesting point to cover. And this is not me talking to Retro. Retro knows macro financial stuff. Retro knows things like this. I'm talking in general. Sometimes you can have a reprint and prices can go up. So, Dan, how can that happen? That doesn't make sense. So as of today, the market is forward looking. Stock markets, crypto markets, Pokemon markets. The market is forward looking. Everyone right now that's deep in this stuff like we are knows that a reprint's coming. I mean, everyone knows a reprint's coming. So the price on TCG Player in the next day and week or so will price in that future knowledge. We're speculating. Is it this much or is it this much? We don't know that, but we know a reprint is coming. So if the reprint amounts to, say, Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks is the most recent set. I think Surging Sparks, given its high price, given it's the most recent set, I think that one's the most likely to have the biggest reprint of all of them. I could be wrong, but like it's a reasonable line of logic that leads me to that presumption. If Surging Sparks if they offer me 30 cases, my original allocation was 30 cases-ish. If they offer me 30 cases, that's going to get hit a lot harder. Paldea evolved. We might be pricing in a reprint today. Just based on this news, the box might stay flat. The box might fall 5% in the next days and weeks. The reprint might come, and it might be, hey, Dan, you get one box at 95% of market. Immediately, almost immediately, the market will recalibrate, recorrect. I would expect it to go up. So reprints can actually cause the price to go up if they were always presumed to be coming and they end up being smaller than they were expected to be. Like, that's just how things work. Like people don't just exist. Some people do, to be fair. Some people just like head in the sand, no forward looking. They're just like, this is what I have. This is what's going on now. But most people have some amount of foresight, have some amount of estimations about what's coming, expectations for what's coming. So if and when things like Blooming Waters, I remember hearing things like Blooming Waters is going to be big. I heard from my distro, it's going to be big. You're going to be getting a lot of it. And then Blooming Waters came and the market's like, that's it? And then the price did this instead of this. Price did this instead of this when more product got put out there. It's the wild market we're in. Wild market we're in. Appreciate you, Retro. 188 watching, only 30 likes. Hit the like, you nerds. I'm going to scroll back up. So I don't skip any questions. I just did want to hang out in the current time for a couple comments there. Kanto tins are darkness and vivid, I believe. That sounds like darkness. Stop with the quote signs. LOL. Quote signs. Explain dad lore. Is that like with respect to the pallets? I made a video on my channel back in last May. I'm investing by the pallet with my dad in sealed Pokemon product right now. I will do a 1-year follow-up video. I might do a live stream. I've talked with my dad about potentially having him come right here. Maybe we have a couple beers. Maybe we talk about a 1-year reflection on our pallet investment. We'll see. We'll see though. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm giving it my best shot, but like I'm just navigating here. There's probably beef between regular distributors and influencer ones. If it wasn't for the ones on YouTube, we wouldn't know about any restock, and most would have probably gotten market. Yeah, I don't know about how relationships would be between distributors. Some amount of them, like I have 2 distributors that I've had for a decade, and I've spent $1 million with each, and they act very differently. They definitely act very differently. There's times that one will call me, hey Dan, we've got you this, and the other one will just be crickets. And I know friends and associates with accounts with that one, and it's like they got something, and maybe they're a lot bigger accounts than me, whatever. But it's like kind of inconsistent. Rep to rep, account to account, distributor to distributor. What's gonna happen? Some do bundles. Some almost never go above original price, but they bundle like crazy. More and more though. I think There's probably not many holdouts. I think almost every distributor at this point has gone near market price. Let's see. Will prismatic surprise box stamp promos do as well as PC ETB promos? I have no idea. Supply and demand. I two things, like, I don't know. I'm not the consumer of the stamp box. I've never been a variant guy. Give me, aside from first edition, I do like first edition over unlimited, but I'm not an error guy. I'm not a variant guy. Give me the standard one that you can pull from the set. I'm not a huge promo guy, to be honest. Aside from if it's unique and it's not like, especially if it's English exclusive. But I'm not a big, like, here's a card that you can get in a pack, and then here's a promotional variant with a stamp. That just doesn't do much for me. So I'm not the consumer of these. I can't wrap my mind around what people are after there. I mean, exclusivity. I at a baseline understanding, I know what's going on, but I just don't. I don't know well enough to say what each one will do. And then on top of that, I have no clue relative print runs of one to the other. So, like, it's just, I don't do business in that sector, in that segment, and I have no clue about any of it. So yeah, unfortunately, no answer for you there. Appreciate you. Love the content. A mature and objective YouTube channel. My distributor has Surging at $220 a box and Twilight at $195. Just dropped them. So Pokemartin with some hot, fresh information. Let me check my two. I don't think, I looked this morning and I didn't see either. I don't think mine had either yet. So my one doesn't have any. I'm going to check the other. Let me just search Twilight. Twilight was probably bad. I should have searched Masquerade. Twilight's going to pull things up. 16 results for Twilight. None of them being Twilight booster boxes. So neither of mine have anything listed yet. But that's interesting. I took this one earlier. Yeah, I don't know. Literally going to sell one pack to Dan so I can screen cap us being friends and family on my parasocial arc. I will say, generally speaking, I try to, I know he's just memeing, but when I do my pack buying, I try to generally keep the purchases at least like $500. I don't mean to say this in like a mean way or anything, but I've had people actually message me like, hey, I have 6 packs of prismatic. The way that this works, the amount of time that it takes me to like set up a buy and then receive and verify the package, to be fair, like verifying a 6-pack package is a lot quicker than verifying a 600-pack package, but the facilitating the payment, I try to keep the buys at least $500 to $1,000 plus. So if people reach out to me with really little quantities, I just ask them, like, ideally find someone else who can deal with the lower quantity or just save up packs. And sometimes I've said, like, hey, try to save up packs. They come back to me a month later with 10 times as many packs, and the pack price is up 50%. So it's like, hey man, I'm glad you didn't buy my 20 packs of Crown Zenith. Now I've got 200, and now you're paying me $1,200 instead of the original $4 a pack that you were paying. Like, I've actually had those interactions happen. So at some point it will turn, likely. At some point it's like, oh crap, I was saving up packs for Dan, and then the reprint hit and now they're down. So like, there are other people that buy though too. There's always, I'm never going to be offended if you don't buy from me. I'm never going to be offended if you don't sell to me. I'm here. If you want to interact, I'm here. If you want to leave a question in my live chat, I'm here. If you want to sell to me, buy from me, I'm here. And if not, that's most people. Most people in the hobby don't watch me. Most people in the hobby don't buy from me. I'm a tiny little business, one little speck in like the grand scheme of things. And I'm never offended by the lack of interaction like that. How can you buy all them packs and can't afford a razor? So I'm going to, in 3 weeks, I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. I'm not taking this whole thing to Fort Lauderdale. I just don't like shaving. My hair is getting like annoyingly long. I hate when it starts going over my ears. I've got like a rat tail in the back probably. I need a haircut bad. I know it. I just, it's oh no. I dropped for a second. It's cold here. It was 50 today, but like 2 weeks ago, it was like 0 and windy and snowing 2 feet. So this has come in handy for snow blowing, but we're almost out of that season. It's going to be not gone, but it's going to be trimming up a bunch soon. Oh no. Pokey Steve says, making my lady tune in with us tonight. Got to get her ready for the reprint. I apologize to Pokey Steve's lady that he is subjecting you to this. Thank you, DJ and Collector. The experience share. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, the experience share. Back early January, Crown Zenith booster packs were $4.44 on TCG Player. I said they'd definitely be $10 by next January. You said you didn't see any way that was possible. Can we get our monthly update? I will give our monthly update. I need to flip me the quote. Did I say I didn't see any way that was possible? I might have. I'm not saying that I didn't. I think that I would have said something like, I don't see a reasonable path to that. Not seeing a reasonable path to it doesn't mean that it's not possible. Semantics, kind of, but like, I'm giving you that I've been very wrong thus far. But one thing I'll push back on too. I know I like put you on the spot a little bit. I asked you, talk versus walk. If you were that confident, if I was that confident, if I somehow knew, I would have hundreds of thousands of Crown Zenith packs. Not everyone has as much access to capital, but like if you held that very tightly, very confidently, and you had 5,000 packs, it's like, how could you not be doing everything to make your 5,000 10,000 and then your 10,000 20,000? Like I would question anyone who knows a double up is coming. Like definitely means you like know it. Semantics again. Which one's more forceful? Which one's more firm? But if something was definitely going to happen, I would definitely have almost all of my net worth in it. All of the net worth that I would mortgage my house. I would mortgage my paid off house to put in hundreds of thousands of dollars more into Crown Zenith booster packs if I had that level of confidence. Why can't I find? Let me just go to my website. Will be easier than going to TCG Player. I've been doing that more and more. It's like I don't know why I go to TCG Player anymore because it's just on my website. So market price of Crown Zenith is $7.53. That is insane. I'm buying them at like 6-ish. Hindsight's easy. So even with hindsight, there was 1 week where I spent like 50 to 100 grand on packs. I bought 10,000 Crown Zenith packs in a week at 375-ish. My memory's not amazing. But I turned down 20,000 more packs. They wanted 4. They went to 375. They wanted 4. 2 separate people. I had 80 grand. At the time that I turned down 20,000 Crown Zenith packs, I had 80 grand in my bank account. But I have a lot of other stuff to buy. I have 2 live streamers, PK and Ponga, that I stock with every set. Like right now, they both have a lot of Crown Zenith. Me, everywhere overall, we sold, year to date, we sold 5,000 packs of Crown Zenith. But year to date, they've grown how many packs they have. So in 2 months, I've bought more than 5,000 packs of Crown Zenith. I've bought more than we've ripped. They have more than they started with. In hindsight, it's like, yes, it would have made money buying that $80,000 worth, but instead, I put it into Paldea Evolved. I put it into every other set, most of which went up as well. I was buying 151 at the time for maybe 7 or 8. It didn't go up as much, but it gone up a ton too. It mind-blowing. This market, a lot of irrationality, a lot of look, I truly, like, you are right now. I think it's an irrational statement at any point to say that, like, this is definitely going to double. This piece of cardboard that I have no idea how the fickle consumer demand will play out over the next year. I have no idea how the broader markets will go. Like, if we go into a recession or depression, it still might not happen. Like, even today, from $7.50 today to $10 by January, that's still not a lock. If people think that's a lock, getting 33% in 9 months, like, what are we doing? Why are we not oh, well, why would I take 30% in 9 months when I can just triple my money and everything in a month? so much exuberance, so much irrational exuberance, so much overconfidence. And as long as we're winning, as long as that $25 side bet, 9-9, perfect match without the suit, as long as we're hitting 17-1 perfect matches, I don't know what more to say. You are winning. You are winning this conversation, this debate, this wager, whatever it is. I don't know. Oh, I do. Thank you, Navi. Let me see if I can figure out how to replay those. I should have the ability to replay. Not only do I owe you 5, I owe you 50 for amplitude. Thank you, Navi. I entirely forgot about that. Hopefully people are not mad at Navi after I play a lawnmower 55 times like I owe. Oh, what is all this? Update my details. I don't want to update my details. Streaming tools. I need to go into my... Somehow I lost my dock. I lost my dashboard on OBS, so I have to go into Stream Elements for this. But I should be able to go to events. I need to look at the old events. Application error. Oh no. It might not work. I'm going to try to replay these. Stream Elements is giving me issues. And my Stream Elements widget in OBS died too. So I don't know that I can do this. I'm trying. I'm going to try one more time. And then I might have to just... let me see. I'm getting an application error. I promise I'm not just skipping out on my duty. What I might be able to do, maybe late in the stream, I have the video. I can just pop the video up and I can just make the lawnmower go without this way. But yeah, let me get back to the chat. I'm sure it's going to be lively. Where are we at? Clip Dan admitting someone was right. Brad, I mean, he's not been right yet, right? Like, they've gone up a ton. I hope if someone is definitely thinking a pack is going to double in a year, I hope he's made $50,000. I hope he's made hundreds of thousands of dollars with that level of confidence. I didn't have that level of confidence, and I have all in. I'm going to tell you how many packs of Crown Zenith I had at the time. At the time, I had about 10,000 packs. I have like 12,000 packs right now. So I've added more packs. Just, I can't go all in. I can't only have PK and Ponga live every night. Crown Zenith is an amazing set, one of my favorites. But I can't have them only having Crown Zenith. They need Prismatic. They need Surging. They need Stellar. They need Shrouded. They need Twilight. They need all of it. And I didn't have the money, sadly, to put 80 grand in. Nor did I have the confidence, overconfidence, that I thought it was going to do that. But I will hold that L. My 10,000 packs. Thank you, Navi. Navi made the lawnmower go again. Appreciate you. That is hopefully you will let Java and Amplitude borrow these lawnmowers a little bit, because 55 of them were due, and Navi popped up 10. I apologize for being in debt. 55 lawnmowers. But I'll hold the L that my 12,000 packs of Crown Zenith have gone up $3 a pack. Give me every L that involves me making 5 figures of money. Give me all those L's. I will take every one. I don't think there's anything in Pokemon today that should double or even will double in the next year. But like, something probably will, and I'll probably have some amount of it. I will hold, like, I made the statement that nothing should or likely would, even though something probably will. I just know because this market's insane. I will hold that L. When I'm wrong and something I own accidentally doubles, I will hold that L with pride. I need to just get a big plush L. This content is crazy. It's like, send me Instagram DM, send it on my email me at catchemallcollectibles@gmail.com. I'll play the clip. If you can find me a timestamp, send me a linked timestamp to the video. We'll do a watch party. Like, I make hundreds of hours of content. A lot of words spew out of my mouth. I can't remember what I've said. I have an idea what I might have said. Maybe I said it more forcefully than I would have intended. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if I said there is no way in hell that could ever do that. There's no, like, I wouldn't have said something. I almost feel like I remember saying, like, I have a hard time seeing a path to that. But Crown Zenith could be 20. But let me just demonstrate that, like, I know it's possible. Crown Zenith could be 20 by January. It shouldn't be, in my opinion. This, like, it's a good set, but should it be $20 a pack? It absolutely could be. It would be insane. My brain can't even I'm like, my brain is malfunctioning thinking that it could. It wouldn't even be the craziest thing to happen in Pokemon, probably. Like, everything this thing did since I bought that case, it's all, like, just bonkers. Like, none of it, it's all arbitrary. The intrinsic value is all 0. So, like, whatever happens, it doesn't have to make sense. And I'm just along for the ride. I'm along for the ride. I still stand by that. I still stand by, like, I do not see how there's any way that happens. That sounds like something I would say. I do not see how there's any way that that happens. I guess that's a little bit more forceful than maybe I intended, but I feel like there's more context around that. I feel like I would have said, for all I know, it could be 15, it could be 20, as I'm saying now. Like, it shouldn't be, but this market's insane, so who knows? When I bought these, if you had told me, Dan, you just bought a case of these for 400, that's going to be $700. When you did all your projections off a $300 PSA 10, if you told me, Dan, in 2 months, that's going to be a $700 PSA 10, I would say, I don't see how that happens, but I would love it if it did. I think that's, and in this insane market, it wouldn't be the craziest thing. Like, I don't think $10 crown in January would be the craziest thing. There's been crazier things. I think, though, if someone has that level of confidence and they're not more than doubling their net worth, what are we doing here? If you know it's going to happen and you don't double your net worth in that same 12-month span, I hope experience share, you are doubling your net worth. I know I'm not doubling my net worth. I mean, who knows? With what Pokemon's doing, maybe I will in a year. But anyways, let me before the questions expire, I'm gonna roll back and go do more questions. Let's see. How's it going, President Welcome Ball? Appreciate you, David, for subscribing. Remind us how to contact you, please. On my website, there's a contact form. Catch 'em all collectibles on Instagram, on Discord as well, all over the place. Stein's reprint. What Steins are getting hit with reprints? Oh man, these had, like, these are the Charizard of, like, Steins. These are like the Charizard and Blastoise. They've had so many reprints over the years. These are. You ask me a meme question, you're gonna get an actual answer. So these are made in Brazil by Serra Marte, I believe it's pronounced. Serra Marte in Rio Negro, Brazil. These were made in 82 to 83, I believe. The original prints were made in Germany, in Wurz, Germany, I believe, back in 1959. They made 1,500 or 2,500 sets. My Stein brain is, a lot of my Stein information leaving me. But in 59, they made the originals. In the 70s, they made the Brazilian reprints. And then throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s, into today, they're making them in China now. But these ones are perpetually in print, just always getting reprinted. Hey, Ketchum, longtime viewer, can I have your thoughts on Zenith as a 2 to 3 year investment? I still feel like at 90, in Skyboxes locally is a steal at less than $6.50 a pack. I'm buying them. I love Crown Zenith. I ripped 5,000 packs between PK and Ponga. We ripped 5,000 packs so far this year. We're on pace to rip 30,000 packs of Crown Zenith in 2025. I only have 10,000 packs. So I only have a couple months worth. We've got confidence in chat that it's going to be $10 by January. If it's $10 in January, I'm going to be buying them for $8 a piece. If it's $20 in January, I'm going to be buying them for $16 a piece. If it's 25, I'm going to be buying them for 20. I will be buying Crown Zenith packs for the next decade, assuming pack rips go the way they're going, because I think it's that good of a set. Like the oldest packs that I kind of like stock that do well, Hidden Fates, Evolutions. I haven't done well with keeping Evolutions in stock, but those sets just sell well, even several years later. I think Crown Zenith will be selling well next week, next month, 5 years from now. It's just such a fun opening experience. Will there be better sets in the future? Probably. Will there be better opening experiences in the future? Probably. But I truly like, I love that set, but I only have 12, 13,000 packs of them. It's hard to put more than 10% of my business capital, cash flow, inventory into one pack of one set. It's just hard to allocate that much. I need to be ready when the reprints drop. Like if I had 20,000 packs more of Crown Zenith and they hit me with a reprint where I could get 20 cases each of all the sets we talked about earlier, there's a chance where I might not be able to buy these at 90 bucks a box if I had that much Crown Zenith. So it's like, don't go broke on good deals and you might miss great deals. All the things that I say. The reprinting first edition base set. You heard it here first. How's it going, Ryan? Do you buy sleeved packs at same price or do you not want sleeved? So I try to buy sleeved at like 5 or 10 cents a pack cheaper than non-sleeved, because I just don't want to open up the cardboard. I don't want to open up the extra cardboard. It's a hassle. I strongly prefer just loose packs. Do you think TPCI cares that distributors are effectively scalping the product? Feels like the only winners from reprints are distro. If they cared so much, they could do it through their website instead, which instead of like, say distro scalps surging at 200, they could do surging for 160. So if they care enough, they could handle that. They could do it through Amazon probably. They could probably do it directly fulfilled through like different websites like that. Or instead of doing booster boxes, they could do ETBs, and then they could go to Target, Walmart, Best Buy, all those. So they can do what they want. Like if they're worried that distros are going to do that to a great enough extent, reprint a product that doesn't go to distro. Reprint Sea and Sky, reprint Blooming Waters, and they have. So I don't know. I think they care a little bit. I think they don't like make money directly on the secondary market being so high, but they make money indirectly. Like they're printing more than normal right now. I don't know how much more, but they're doing well. They're doing well with the secondary market being what it is. I think generally they want it to be a fair bit calmer than it is, but they like it being at or above MSRP. They like people down the chain making money, continuing to buy more Pokemon in the future. But it's definitely a bit crazy right now. The original source was a non-TCG. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that I didn't know who the original source was. Okay, so maybe I don't know a non-TCG. I don't follow. All of the leaks he has made have all actually happened. I heard someone saying that like maybe they were talking about someone else. Again, I don't know the usernames. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter. But I heard of someone, and I remember I was here during all the Evolving Skies reprint confirmations that never happened. Or people like confirmed reprints of booster boxes coming. Booster boxes never came, but other products came. ETBs, other things came. Maybe not a non-TCG, but there's definitely a history in this hobby of people making proclamations, declarations that reprints are confirmed, and then them not coming through. You just need to be cautious. Okay, this might be what I heard then. The guy that leaked this reprint leaked a previous temporal reprint a couple months ago, and he wasn't wrong. He said it would just be a restock sent to certain distro from Pokemon Center themselves. Okay. The Pivot King, Pivot. Definitely made some big pivots in my 3.5 years full time. Do you think PCI printing in several different languages is putting pressure on English supply? I mean, if they only printed in English, it would be easier, right? If 100% of resources could go, if they dropped Japanese, if they just said like, hey guys, Pokemon is English only moving ahead, that would help them get more English cards out. But like, to what extent? No idea. Just layers of speculation. Gold hands on vintage. He did that night, yes. Unknown says, thank you, let everything crash. What's the secret to breaking even? Buy and then sell for the percentage that you pay as a platform fee above what you paid. If you pay 13% platform fees, pay X, sell for 113% of X, and you will break even. That is the key to breaking even. The reprints definitely could be gobbled up quick. Scared money doesn't make money. I remember buying the Evolving Skies reprint at $85. Now it's over $1,000. Yeah, crazy. I mean, wild times in the hobby right now. Do you think you could have gone full-time without having your YouTube channel and the network / buying that comes with it? Absolutely. There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons to having a name and a face out there. I try to leverage the pros. I try to not deal with the cons are like you lose anonymity and all that. But there's pros to being anonymous too. There's pros to just not being yelling into the void for 2 hours once a week on YouTube, turning the lights red behind you and talking about the same topics week after week after week. I say that, but I do enjoy it. So I know people who are crushing. I know people who consign through me. I know people who sell to me occasionally. I buy from occasionally, who have no big Instagram, who have no big YouTube, who you wouldn't know their name if I said it. And they're doing like massive numbers. So I could have done it, but I would have had to do it differently. Like I couldn't have the buy list the way that I do. But absolutely, like I've been in it for 11 years. I've been full time for 3.5, going on 4. The amount of ways that you can make 6 figures in Pokemon as a full time business is just mind blowing. People say like, "Oh, Dan, you got in 11 years ago when the market when it was so cheap." You're so lucky. It was so cheap. The liquidity wasn't there. The price wasn't there. If you bought a bunch and sat on it for a long time, collecting it, hoarding it, whatever, like I did, you got lucky. You did well because of it. But the amount of businesses that come in, snap their fingers, and are doing 6 figures monthly, 7 figures annually, making 6 figures net annually. That was not a thing 11 years ago. I promise you. And you could do it in bulk right now. You could do it on TCG Player. You could do it on Fanatics Live, whatnot, eBay Live. You could do it on just eBay. You could do it on your own website. You could do it with a YouTube. The amount of avenues to make a full-time living in Pokemon today is insane. So the YouTube helps what I do because like I have it, so I'm gonna use it. A lot of paths that I could do it though. Otherwise, did your gambling addiction start in RuneScape? Probably. I didn't used to go to the I've never done the dual arena. I've never done any of that. Gambling on like the flower colors. I never did any of that really. My flipping started. My flipping addiction started. I used to buy units, I used to buy lobsters, I used to buy party hats, all that stuff. Let's see. If it's Dan, it's almost always Cap. Not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm one of the most transparent people out there. There's definitely a lot of other transparent people too. Brian Pokiani is very transparent as well. There's certain things I'm not going to give you everything. He's not going to give you who he buys his boxes from. Though he did say in a recent video, he's like, if you give me $100,000, I will make the introduction to my distributors. So I don't know how many people caught that video. I don't watch all his stuff, but I watch most of it. And I caught him saying like, hey, pay me $100 grand and I will introduce you to all of my distributors, which was wild. Like the one thing that was off limits, he put a number on it. I don't know if that's cap or not. I don't know if someone literally like, here's $100 grand, tell me now. I don't know what he would actually do. Presumably he would tell them. I would imagine. I have about $10,000 on PSA 10 IRs. Should I just sell them? One of my favorite videos that I've made on my channel. Look up an investor's biggest blind spot. It's opportunity cost. I made a video on opportunity cost. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know your finances. I don't know what $10,000 means to you. You're going to have some amount of consignment fees. You're going to have some amount of platform fees. That said, if you want to consign, feel free to reach out. I can facilitate the sale of your cards through Fanatics. I can pay out up to 95%. I can pay out a higher percentage at a lower threshold than any other Fanatics consignment service that I've seen. And I beat most eBay consignment services, if not all eBay consignment services, as far as the lower rate threshold. That's if you want to sell. If I don't know your story, if I had, this is what I always go back to. If I had $10,000 in PSA 10 IRs, I would sell them all. I don't speculate. I don't maintain. I don't keep like long-term graded inventory. I buy raw, I grade, I sell. I buy graded at a percentage, I sell at a higher percentage. I buy packs at a percentage, I sell at a higher percentage. Sealed is the one thing that I use the word speculate. People don't like it when I say speculate. People like it when I say invest. So I just give them what they want. I give the people what they want, and I say I invest in sealed. That's all I really invest in. Let's see. Next retrospects discount code for Dan should be CAP. Yes, use code MEAT for 5% off. 151 price substantially below market. Get in there. I don't have my affiliate link to drop, but my affiliate link is in my link tree though. So check the affiliate link below in my link tree for a $5 off your $100 order over at Retrospecs. I do buy loose packs. Yes. What are your thoughts on scalpers? This might be my video for Monday. I've started jotting down notes. I've started jotting down notes on a little file, and I don't want to give it away. Let me look up what is a scalper on Google. A person who resells shares or tickets at a large or a quick profit. Distributors are scalping to some extent. Distributors are offering people $95 prismatic ETBs. I have bought, I talked about it at the outset of this video. I bought, what did I say? $650 Chaldean Fates booster bundle displays. That's above MSRP. So how much do I want to spill? I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I had this conversation. If Ponga or Vandy, maybe Vandy wasn't there still. He wasn't. If Ponga or Nick are listening, maybe they're not. The amount of mental gymnastics, I'm gonna spill the beans on like the gist of the video. The amount of mental gymnastics people go through. Like I've listened to so many podcasts. I try to like really branch out my consumption lately of podcasts and of Pokemon YouTube videos. Some of it's painful. It's painful because it's like the amount of mental gymnastics people go through to try to justify like, hey guys, I'm a true, I see Ray in here. Shout out to Ray. TRE capital W. I'm a true collector, but hey guys, like I'm not scalping. I bought those PC ETBs because they were 65 and I valued them at that, but now the market's 400. Am I allowed to sell one? Like, pretty please, can I sell one at, like, I wanted it at 65, but now it's worth too much. And the amount of mental gymnastics people go through to justify what's fine and what's not fine, it's a joke to me. It's like people have a hard time figuring out what's allowed and what's not because mental gymnastics are difficult. I'm not a gymnast. Mental gymnastics, I'm not good at either. Use logic, use reason. Is anyone lying, cheating, stealing? Bad. If you are an adult and you buy a product at 65 and the market tells you, hey, I want that product that you have, I'll pay 400. You're not a bad person for selling. Like I've heard people try to justify, I don't want this thing anymore. I feel bad selling it for what people are willing to pay. And, oh, but I didn't mean to sell it. Like I didn't buy it with intent to sell it eventually. I only bought one. I'm only holding it for a friend. Like as if there's certain thresholds on what you're allowed to do, a limit on quantity, a limit on margin that you can make. Like mental gymnastics are difficult. Logic and reason, just being sane is not difficult. So I take that route. I don't pre-order. I don't sell for MSRP. It's an arbitrary number that never matters until market's over MSRP. But I need to figure out. It's going to be called something about scalping, something about like all that stuff. If you're buying a product from a willing seller, as long as you're not lying, cheating, stealing to do it, and if you're selling to a willing buyer, I don't care about any of the circumstances otherwise. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. It's willing adults on both sides of the transaction. Like, how do people judge that stuff? Elbowing kids, punching people, that's lying, cheating. That's cheating, stealing, depending on the circumstance, depending on the nuance of the situation. But it's just wild to me, the mental gymnastics that people will go through as to what's allowed and what's not allowed. And people don't have context. It's like if I'm selling prismatic packs for 13 or 14 bucks, you don't know if that's one of the ones I paid $3 for my initial allocation. It's not, because those are long gone. Or you don't know if my distro just scalped me at $110 for, and it shouldn't matter. It's like, if you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. I've had the same MSRP market scalp. I've had the same conversation 70 times, and I'm going to have it 700 more times. It only comes up in these rare instances. These things will come around. Buy them later. Buy them later when you value them as much or more than the market. And if you never do, you don't have to have everything. Like that's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what more to say, but I might do, I'm going to try to keep like a sub 10-minute video. It'll probably make people mad, but I just need to like package it in a better thing so it will spread wider. My video on Monday got 4,000 views in 24 hours, which I think is a record for me. That was crazy. But it's like, what are we doing, guys? Why do we do this? Last time we did this was $200 Vivid Voltage, and look how that panned out. This stuff will become available again. Just be an adult. Be patient. Don't be a child screaming, throwing a tantrum on the floor. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and like, what are we doing here? I don't know. What's your end goal with 151 packs sealed singles? My end goal is to have product to sell to my live stream consumers and make enough money to get to financial independence. I want to fill all my buckets. I want to be able to retire in my 40s. Not retire, but be financially independent. Let me get rid of the buckets. I'm waiting to get a haircut so I can look good for the MetaZoo guys. Dan, it's freezing in Florida, currently 70. I mean, it was 50 here today. What's my stream schedule? So I do a pre-recorded video once a week on Mondays at 1 p.m. I've had that schedule for like 2 years now, I think. One video a week on Monday at 1. Streaming, though, I live stream either Wednesday or Thursday normally. This is if you're asking me about YouTube. I realize now you might be asking about Fanatics. So PK is live 5 days a week at roughly 11 a.m. Eastern till about 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. And he's also live 9 p.m. on every day but Monday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So PK is 5 days and 5 nights a week. Ponga's 2 nights a week, Thursday nights and Sunday nights, around 8 p.m. Eastern, closer to 8 p.m. Eastern generally. Let's see. Pokemon Master James asking XP share. Should I sell my 10K IRPSA 10 collection now at the peak before it reprints? Yeah, XP share. I mean, we should be having a Q&A with you. I mean, you're the one who called. You're the one who called Crown Zenith doubling in 2 months. But it is way higher than 753. My website lags a little bit. Is it higher? I don't know why I couldn't pull up Crown Zenith. I'm trying to pull it up again on TCG Player, and for whatever, oh, there it is. I see market price of $7.94. Low list is more like 8 something though. Yeah, so it's in the 8s. Crazy. Drop the StreamYard link. I'm bored and want to answer nuanced market questions. I don't use StreamYard. I use OBS. So it's not easy. Class at 12 says, I knew CZ would double, Dan, but you're poor. No, if you know something's going to happen that is going to make a ton of money, you scrape money together and you double. I said double your net worth. Double your net worth. Whether it's $100, whatever it is, it's like the overconfidence. The overconfidence that comes in markets like this. At some point, people take gambles that are too big. But it's like, if you make enough gambles in a row that you 10x your net worth, you 10x your money, and then you lose 20-30% of it all in one go, who cares? You made a ton of money and it all ended up fine in hindsight. But if you're constantly putting all of your net worth into one bet and then eventually one doesn't pan out, it's like, well, everything's gone now. That sucks. Hey, I'll subscribe. Send me the link. Send me the link, XP Share. You know what this space needs? The Pokemon YouTube space needs more channels that tell you that sealed only goes up and we're all gonna make a ton of money. We need more of that. We don't have a whole lot of that in the space. Let's see. Hope you filled the mower up with gas. No, I mean, I was right when I put a $25 bet on Match the Dealer when I had 2 9s and he had a 9 and one was a perfect match. So I can do Zelle, I can do PayPal Friends and Family, and I can do ACH or Wire with the routing and account number. I hope you're right, because if Crown, it looks like it could definitely happen. The thing is, like, again, it's doubled in 2 months. You called for it going up 250%, well, going up 150%, becoming 250%. You called for it going up 150% in a year, and you were too cautious. In hindsight, like, you were way too cautious. I was even way more cautious than that. But props to you. I don't know what more to say. It's like, part of me hopes it goes up that much, but then part of me hopes it stays more sane and reasonable too. Because, like, I truly think, I had this talk in Discord recently. If the market stays this irrational, this crazy, this not punished for too long, the inevitable, yes, I said inevitable, the inevitable landing from this will be harsher punishment, is what I'll say. If we spend multiple years where everything just doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles, and I'll sell it all way too early, I'll only 10x my net worth when everyone else 1000x's it, it will have to end very badly if it gets that crazy. I don't want Pokemon to die. I don't want Pokemon to just become completely inaccessible to everyone. I don't think it is. I think we're a long way from there. I don't think that's actually going to happen. I think we're gonna, like, reel back in towards sanity at some point in the coming months. But that said, talk versus walk. I have more Pokemon sealed than I've ever had in my entire life. So it's like, I think it's gonna have to come back to sanity at some point. But I still have a live stream to feed. We're on pace to sell multi 7 figures this year on live streams, and I need to keep that fed. I'm not telling you how much I have exactly, but if I had $1 million in sealed loose packs and I didn't buy any more, at the pace we're going, we would be sold out by August. So it's like, I need to have that much to have 3 or 4 or 5 months worth of inventory for the streams. Like that's how crazy this all is. It's nuts. In the current market, my biggest L would be not buying like 20 bucks of the Crown Zenith for $50 2 years ago. I mean, I first bought Bitcoin when it was like $200 a Bitcoin. I knew of Bitcoin when it was $8 a Bitcoin, and then I watched it crash to $2 a Bitcoin. I could be a billionaire with a few properly timed trades. Anyone could be if they had the hindsight. If they had the foresight that they have in hindsight. Everyone could be a billionaire. It'd be easy. Oops. Hit the like, you apes. It's literally free, and you get to watch a bearded guy talk about packs. I jumped to the bottom. I didn't plan to click on that one, but it happened, and I'm not mad about it. So, where am I now? I think I'm getting close to catching up. Maybe. I skipped over a bunch, but I'm back. See, at $10, I love Crown Zenith, but like $10 a pack's a lot of money though too. I don't know where all the money comes from, but I don't want to know either. I'm glad the buyers are out there. Yeah, I'm not gonna be mad if it hits $10 for sure. Do you think the market is strong enough to push Evolving Skies to 3K? Do Pokemon 151 ETBs break 400 by this time next year? They could. Most of my history in Pokemon, if you would ask me like, hey Dan, if you would ask me in January, hey Dan, do you think Crown Zenith will be 10 a pack in January? I would say I would lean towards no. It might end up happening. If you would ask me, I've said this many times, if you would ask me, Dan, in 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years, any duration for any product, I've almost always said a number that was lower than what happened in actuality. So I've always been too bearish in some regards. But there is a path. Let me not make the mistake again. I took my L. Let me not make the mistake again. There's a path where Evolving Skies could be $3,000 by the end of the year. There's a path where, let me see what 151 ETBs are. There's a path where 151 ETBs could be $400 by the end of the year. Do I think they will be? No. Will I make money if they are? Yes. They're 204 right now. Do I think they should double? It's all arbitrary. None of it should do or not do anything. It's all arbitrary. Intrinsic value 0. There's a path where 151 ETBs double again before the end of the year. Am I buying a ton of 151 ETBs expressly because I think they're going to double? No. But do I have, I'll just tell you how many packs of 151 I have. I have 7,000 packs of 151 right now. I make a lot of money if they go up a bunch. On top of the 7,000 packs, I have a little bit of sealed on the pallets. I have some 151 ETBs. I have some Mew UPCs. But I'm not like actively making major bets intending for that specifically to happen. But I have so much exposure to Pokemon that if that happens, if Crown Zenith doubles, if Shrouded Fable doubles, I have a crap ton of all of it. So like I'll do well. But really don't know. My biggest L was selling 48 cases of Evolving at 900 a case. But what did you do with that money though too? There are things you could have done with that money that did better since. Like likely you probably didn't do something that did better, but there are things that do better than that too. All day, every day. Like every single day. If you could see the closing prices on every stock ticker, on every crypto ticker in the entire market, if you could see those and study them for 5 minutes with the opening bell for the markets at 9:30 a.m., you could make millions of dollars every single day. But unfortunately, foresight is harder than hindsight. I'm 30 minutes behind chat. I'm trying to catch up. How's it going, Poke Chef? Nice to see you. Let's go, Rangers. Did my taxes. They weren't as scary as I anticipated. I finished mine last week. Evolving Skies reprints was a thing for like 2 years straight on YouTube. Absolutely. Some of those were confirmed as well. Like, you just need to be careful. Reprints are sometimes so small. Sometimes they're so small. Sometimes they're a lot bigger. Sometimes they're in between. We don't know what they're going to be. When people say things that are so, like when people say, this is definitely going to double in a year, When people say, there's no amount of 151 they could reprint that could bring it back under MSRP. When people say things that are that wrong, it's just scary. It's scary how irrational and overconfident people are. But who cares? I'm yelling into the void. No one cares. There's 200 people here. I've said the same thing 50 times. It's people that know and agree, and people that don't agree. And it's like, if market go up, Dan wrong. If market go down, people will leave the hobby anyway. So it's like, who cares? Why do I try to reach these kids when these kids will not be reached? These were from Pokemon Center. These were right from PokemonCenter.com. They're really cool. I think they're like $40 a piece. I bought like every single one they had in stock at one point. Not like scalping them, not buying them out in quantity. I bought one of each because I really liked them. Just go on Pokemon Center, search Canvas. They still have, maybe they have all of them. At one point, a bunch of them went out of stock and is out of stock. Dollars per square inch of this versus this. This is $100. I don't value this $100. I buy it for that, to grade it, to make money on it. Oh no. I dropped for a second, but I think I'm back again. I buy it to sell it for more money and make money on it. But these are 18 by 24 inches. These are 2.5 by 3.5 inches. This is $100+. This is $40. Like, that's good value. Look at this Charizard. Like, look at this Charizard versus this Charizard. I get more value out of this than I do out of this. Honestly, like, if it's too expensive for you, don't buy it. I buy a lot of it to resell because I can make margin, but the overall consumer base in Pokemon largely values most things more than I do. No. Today, yes, I agree. Consumers are craving more supply than is currently on the market today. More supply that can ever be met, though. When people say that Pokemon literally can't print enough of any of this, that's just wrong. If Pokemon printed enough, I promise you, I've said it with this card, like, Pokemon printed 13 billion cards or 12 billion cards last year. If Pokemon printed 13 billion of one card, if next year they release no new sets and they just printed all of this, that would be too many. They literally can print enough of any of these cards. Can they print enough of all of them tomorrow to make everything drop 50%? I agree, no. But like, I've heard some people make such strong declarations. I'm confident Pokemon booster boxes will never be sub 100 again. I might have, honestly, a better clip than what was talked about earlier. A better clip would be a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. I think I fell into the whole, like, I could see Pokemon never going sub 100 again. When MSRP went to 160, I fell into the same trap other people did. People are falling into it again. You're not going to get me again, Pokemon market. You're not going to get me again. I can't guarantee it. I can't say definitely. I can't say guaranteed. I am as confident as I can be. I am 99% confident in the next 3 years. Flip me, quote me, come back in 3 years. There will be a main set booster box for $99.99 shipped on eBay or less. eBay or Hills or somewhere. Like, it was just the case 6 months, 9 months ago. 6 months, 9 months ago, almost every Scarlet Violet set was available for sub 100. And people 6-9 months later are saying it will never happen again. What are we doing? Like, I got sucked into it for a little bit there. At one point on a Pokeflips on one of my live streams, I said I agree. I don't think we'll ever see sub 100 again. I am as confident as I can be. We will see sub 100 again because that's the way the market goes. When everyone can have it, not as many people want it. When nobody can have it, everyone wants it. At some point, it'll come back around, whether supply going up enough or demand going down enough. Consumers are very fickle. Demand is very fickle. At some point, there will be $99.99 shipped main set boxes, and all the people crying about MSRP, most of them, not all's too strong, too absolute. Many / maybe even most of the people crying about MSRP will not be here buying $99.99 booster boxes because they'll be gone, because it'll be available and they won't want it as much anymore. That's what happens. That's just how the market cycles go. I am very confident in that. Do you think crowning the singles will raise in value with prices? I don't know. I don't speculate in singles. What's getting reprinted? So per Pokemart, per Anon, TCG, Surging Sparks, booster bundles, booster displays, Twilight Masquerade, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, booster displays, Paldean Fates booster bundles, Kanto Friends mini tins. How many? When? No idea. But that's what we've heard. Josh would not stop yelling about an Evolving Skies reprint. Rest in peace to Cardboard Hands. Where'd that go? Must be too many Evolving Skies reprint calls. He had to just retire. Yeah, that was not possible 10 years ago, I promise you. People lamenting the prices of the past do not lament the liquidity, the market of the past. Poke Plush is gonna be the next Poke Plumber 2.0. Rad Jack says, should I put my life savings in a Pokemon and start flipping catch 'em all collectibles? You make it sound easy to become a millionaire. I don't know your opportunity cost. I don't know your safety nets in play. I'm not ashamed to say, like, if I truly bombed everything, I don't take risk to the level that could wipe me out financially. I don't trade on margin. I don't spend other people's money. I don't use debt as a tool to like build my business faster. But if I did and I failed spectacularly, I could probably stay in one of my dad's apartments very, very cheaply. Not everyone has that kind of a safety net. Not everyone has that kind of a fallback. If I literally tomorrow had a zero net worth, if I lost everything, I could literally like go live with family and work a job with them if Pokemon just went away. Everyone has different situations. So depending on your risk tolerance, depending on your opportunity cost, depending on what kind of a job you're leaving, what kind of a risk you're taking there, all these nuances, all these different things, like I can't give you that advice. Me, in my situation, I left a sub six-figure but nearly six-figure engineering job to do this full time, and I don't regret it whatsoever. I crunched the numbers, I did the math, I gave myself a lot of runway, I maxed out all my buckets, and I'm very happy I made the decision I did. Yeah, but I can never advise people. If you have knowledge and experience, if you know how to hustle, if you know what you're doing, like you can make six figures annually in today's Pokemon market with the right knowledge, with some startup capital. How much, like, I don't know exactly. And the market could, in the coming 6 months, the market could tank badly. The economy overall could tank badly. And in today's market, a lot of people are doing it very successfully at a very high level, very high net. But how long will that last? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Herblore, the math. Herblore caught me on some bad math. If you bought it 100% and then you sold for 113% and paid 13% fees, you would actually have to do 113 times 0.87. You would only net 98.31. So Herblore caught me slipping on the math there. I am 30 minutes behind chat. CB Rap says, if you have 40K in slabs and need to ship them to a consignment like Dan or ZNG, how would you go about shipping that? Can you even ship with 40K insurance, or do you split it up into multiple boxes? So I think James has the same insurance as me. I'm quite confident, actually. If you ship to me, to my vault address down here, if you want to consign with me, I can, for a $40,000 consignment, I would provide the label. Most people ship to me if it's a couple grand, 5-10 grand. If it's like 25 plus grand, I can provide the label. Give me the box dimensions, weight, all that stuff. I'll provide you a prepaid label with signature included that has full insurance. If you have a smaller collection you want to send to me, you don't have to put insurance on it. As long as you put signature on it, my insurance covers it for more than $40,000. So very simple process. ship with USPS, FedEx, DHL, UPS, add signature, and you're fully insured up to a very high number. Investor here, and I'm not panicking. Thanks for trying to speak on my behalf. Product gets soaked up. Product gets soaked up in this market. It does not matter. I mean, there could be some amount of product that would not get soaked up as readily as it has. Right now, yes, things have been getting soaked up. Blooming Waters came out. 151 like is up from when that originally came out. But at some point that could change. When people say that there's no amount they could reprint to make it go down, those things are just wrong. Those things are scary to hear. Cheap things ain't good and good things ain't cheap. Buy low, sell high. We all know for a fact you're not a gymnast. I just can't believe people are buying from these scumbags. Unless you have a rip and ship, of course, because then people are buying off of you, which is crazy to think about. Adults choosing to, like, I'm paying these rates. I'm paying these rates. If an adult out there decides to take that amount of money from me for their items, where's the victim? As long as no one's lying, cheating, stealing, like, please do not go to your local Costco and assault people to get these products. Like, please don't do that. That's bad. That's cheating. That's stealing. That overlaps with all of those a little bit. But if you have inventory that you bought from someone consensually and you didn't assault anyone to do it, and you want to sell to me, and then I have a platform where I sell to people who don't have to buy from me, like, where's the victim there? People make themselves victims the same way people made themselves victims over $200 Vivid Voltage. And then, you know, all the victims of $200 Vivid Voltage, I'm going to take notes for my video on Monday. All the victims, not all, wrong word, many / most of the victims of $200 Vivid Voltage were gone when Vivid Voltage was 100 to 120 to 140. MSRP is the big line in the sand. For over a year. Where were they? All the self-created victims of $200 Vivid Voltage were gone. It's still, what is Vivid Voltage right now? Vivid Voltage is still sub 200. I think it's getting close now. I think it's getting close, but it's just so dumb. It's 190 right now. It's so dumb how people make themselves victims of this stuff. YouTube video, how to spot a scalper. So where's the line? The scalper hater makes it an emotional, not descriptive term. This may not be a common opinion, but I do not understand rip and ships. I will never trust anyone to rip my stuff that I paid for. That $4.99 includes the darn wrap they throw away. That's perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine to look at anything, whether it's a single, whether it's a beautiful canvas or a beautiful duck plushie or a beautiful Sarah Marte Stein from 1982 or 72. Now my brain is, I'm losing brain cells as I talk about all these same things for the same times. It is perfectly fine to see a price and say, I don't want to pay that. But you can't get mad that other people do. The same conversation I've had a million times. You can't get mad. Like, I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay that. He's mean. Why is he paying that? Like, I don't want to pay that. Why is he paying that? If that's how you live your life, that's just wild. That's wild. Like, just last night, I had an $8 beer. I had an $8 beer at the Turning Stone. And then I came home and I had the same beer for $1.50. Why did I do that? Why did I? It's like, I need to stop before the lights go red. Is this guy just focused on another stream? I don't see him responding to YouTube. I think I'm bad. Like, I don't look into the camera hardly at all. because my questions are here and the camera's there. If I was a better YouTuber, I'd have it like closer. But anyways, I'm kind of getting caught up. Let's see. Wait till Dan tries Pacific Northwest beer and realizes New York beer is mid. I mean, I hope that's the case. Like if I just opened up entirely what I thought was good is mid and everything else is bad, like that would be a great problem to have, right? I do like, though, I like supporting the local brewery. Being real here, I only got into Pokemon TCG because of the quality of the cards. Previous gen had those awful yellow borders, like back in 1999. Yeah, I'm a yellow border guy. Nostalgic for that, but it's not a huge deal. Like I'm not super mad at this either. When I got back into the hobby, the primals and the megas and a lot of them had different color borders than yellow. A lot of the cards in the yellow border era, a lot of the hits had non-yellow borders too. I said 10 plus because I thought it would be significantly higher than 10, but didn't want people losing their minds at me. But truthfully, I think it will eventually be nipping the heels of evolving. Like if you told me you have to open one of these 20 packs and you get to keep you have to keep everything for free as part of your collection, whatever, I would choose Crown, and I would expect to be more happy with Crown over evolving. Like I understand the idea behind it. It's just like I know you mentioned you have a lot of packs. I hope you went really deeper on that even, and I hope you make a ton of money on that. Like that's the big thing that gets me a lot with PokeTube. And it's not just like, oh, Dan's picking on poor people who have less money. The confidence with which some people say this stuff can't go down, this stuff is only going to go up, this set is the next this and that, and I'm not talking to you here. I listen to a lot of PokeTube. I listen to people who got back into the hobby 6 weeks ago, who own 2 boxes of product, and they're talking about like, yeah, their stuff beats the S&P 500. It's guaranteed to do this. It's guaranteed to do that. It's like, you're talking a lot of talk, but where's your walk? It's like if you actually believe any of this stuff, I hope you've made a ton of money in the 6 weeks you've been here, because a lot of things are up pretty decently over 6 weeks, and it's scary how confident people get with almost no skin in the game. Round Zenith is super fun to rip. You open 36 packs, you get 36 hits essentially. Okay, this is a dangerous question. Fidel Cashflow says, if I sell to you, is there ways to do it without affecting my taxes, Ketchum? I'm going to carefully answer this question. If you sell to me, so there are 2 ways primarily to sell to me. I can pay you up front with PayPal friends and family. Where's my buy list? I can pay you up front. Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. I can pay you up front with PayPal goods and services. If I pay you upfront with PayPal goods and services, PayPal will issue a 1099 for the amount of money you receive from me, assuming you hit their limits, blah, 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 whatever. If instead you send first, if you trust me, I've consigned millions of dollars worth of cards. I've bought millions of dollars of product from people with them sending first. Fully insured, all that good stuff. If you send first, I will send you an ACH or a wire or PayPal friends and family to pay you. No document is generated. That said, if I send you 10 grand to buy packs from you that you bought for 2 grand, and then you 5 extra money on your Crown Zenith that went from 4 to 20, and then you sell it to me. If you made 8 grand selling stuff to me, legally, the IRS wants to know that. They want to stick their hand in that cookie jar. No government document is generated that will point out that transaction, though. But legally, you have to report it. Those are facts that I'm stating. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just telling you the actual facts surrounding the matter. So, goods and services, selling on eBay, your own eBay, selling on your own Fanatics, selling on all your own things. Generate those documents. If you can sign with me, There's no document required. I've talked with my accountant. I've talked with tax attorneys. In a consignment relationship, you're actually paying me. If anyone 1099 anyone, you would have to 1099 me, but you don't have to 1099 corporations. So it yeah, that's just the way that it works. That's the way that it works. But I cannot advocate for people evading taxes. Tax avoidance is a good business strategy. Tax evasion can land you in jail. So I'm not advocating for that. Yes, South Park reference. How do I reach these kids? Absolutely. So I can show you right now. I will give you the live numbers. This is one of those like good questions. I tell people, like, I'm here live every week for a couple hours. Ask me whatever questions you want. I will answer almost all of them. And sometimes it just feels like, are people actually getting their zero money's worth? I feel like people could ask better questions. Then Retro last week or 2 weeks ago, he said, well, Dan, what is the best question to ask you? I don't know. It depends on your situation. But 2025 sales. I'm going to show you right now my sales of every set going back to Sword and Shield on my rip and ships. There are the numbers. Here are the stats. It's going to be hard. I'm going to try to figure out a way to show this. Ugh, there's so many numbers in this spreadsheet. It's going to be hard. But yeah, I'm going to filter high to low. I might just read. I'm just going to read them because it's going to be hard to show it without, or screw it. I'm going to crop my screen. I think if I crop my screen, it won't end up showing stuff I don't want to show. Not that there's anything wild in this spreadsheet, but some of the spreadsheets I have like my streamer pay and things like that. This one doesn't though. Let me zoom that way down. Way too many tabs open. Let me actually close a bunch of tabs because that's probably what's happening. I'm probably dropping things because of I'm probably dropping the stream because I have so many Chrome tabs open that are just gobbling up my RAM. So here are the packs I've sold year to date. Let me go to camera. Okay, I didn't show off my messy desk. Let me go here. Yes, it worked. So here are the sets. Here are the sets and the number of packs I've sold for each. So let's make it really big. Here we go. Let's make it really big so everyone can see. So this is how many packs I've sold year to date in Fanatics live streams. I've sold 5,264 Prismatic Evolutions packs this year in just over 2 months. 5,000 Crown Zenith packs, 2,300 Paldea Evolved, Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade, 151 English, and then on down. I'm not going to read them all, but 1,500 Fusion Strike, 1,300 Brilliant Stars, Paladin Fates, Obsidian Flames. Some of these are ship sealed, but most of these are ripped live on stream. If people want to pause it, if people want to see the numbers, I've actually had, I posted 1 week. I posted the data at one point for 1 week, and people were like, can you do that every week? I probably won't post it every week on Instagram just because it took didn't take a crazy amount of time, but I don't know, monthly, quarterly. I'm going to make videos more often referencing how much stuff I'm ripping shipping, but every week feels like too much. But yeah, there's the numbers. I hear the production facility is not printing more than they were doing previously. Same amount of raw materials coming in, plus 5 to 10%. Have you heard similar? I don't have any insight as to how much raw material Millennium Print Group is buying, unfortunately. Is it a coincidence that the exact moment that I just posted a video on this channel, I just now heard the cha-ching for eBay? I'm not hearing that lately because I haven't been listing. Yeah, I mean, eBay, I used to do the 10 a day. Now I'm not doing business to consumer anymore. I was doing my tech and sports daily refinement, 10 listings a day. That was like 2023 maybe. And then so much pivoting, so much change in my business back then. I got SV base for $92.50 in January on eBay. Appreciate you, Matt, for subscribing. People are overreacting so hard. Is Evolving Skies also getting reprinted? I do not know. It's 2021 all over again. We will get massive restocks out of nowhere, just like we did. The last time Dan guaranteed something, I went home with a $75 Stein lifetime warranty. That'd be a bad thing to do a lifetime warranty on. Very, very fragile. I used to ship, actually, back in my day, I used to ship hundreds of Steins a year. I was shipping like, my peak, I probably sold 400 or 500 Steins on eBay in a year, plus what I did at conventions, plus what I did locally. There's probably a year that I sold like 600 Steins, which is so dark in hindsight. Like, shipping these things, ugh, the fragility, a lot worse than shipping a good old slab. Value density, fragility, all that stuff. I don't think it'll happen, but $100 ship boxes would be amazing. I can't promise. I can't guarantee. I can't say definitely. I am like, if someone wants to bet me, here's how confident I am. If someone wants to bet me, because the thing is, like, if it doesn't happen, I'm winning anyways. If someone wants to bet me $5,000 or less, I don't want to bet 10 or 20 grand. If someone wants to bet me $5,000 or less in the next 3 years, I will pay you on March 5th, 2028 if I'm wrong. If no box, it's P Football Pete on eBay. It's anywhere on eBay. Not going to count like a TikTok deal. Not going to count a thing like that. But if it's widely available on Hills Wholesale, I'm not going to count a Safari Zone pre-order because there's a chance that they could still be pre-ordering for $99.99 or $100. But if someone wants to bet that, if someone wants to bet in the next 3 years that there won't be a $99.99 box or less, I would take that bet for up to $5 grand. And that's not like some obscene number. Like, it's not like I'm wielding such massively high confidence, but I think it would be a fun bet. It would be a fun bet. One thing though, kind of like shout out to Bulbasaur, not that he needs it from this channel, but he did a coin flip recently where it was like a $4,000 card and he did like 8 grand or 0. What he does when he does big coin flips, he requires people to put the money in up front and like verify that they're not going to skip town on him. Because I've seen I've listened to a dealer POV video where someone was like, hey, it's $100 slab. Let's flip for 200 or 0. The guy flips and loses, so now he's got to pay 200 for the slab, but he just leaves. So I can't have someone that has no presence in the space taking the bet with me. Like, if someone takes a bet with me and they plan on scamming me if they lose, like, I risk $5,000 because I'll actually pay it. I can't take it against somebody with no skin in the game as far as like a brand or a name that they're not risking. If old school Pokemon takes this bet with me publicly and then he backs out on the bet, I can name and shame him. If XYZ Zardballer 69420 on YouTube comments takes the bet with me, it's like, it'll be the coin flip situation where if in a year from now there's next block, whatever the set is, if a set's available for $97.99 shipped on P Football Pete, they'll just delete their YouTube account. They'll just ghost. I'll have no way of collecting my money. So if someone wants to take a bet, you have to have some presence, or you have to like give me collateral. Give me at least $500 or $1,000 collateral. I'm not going to scam you. I'm not going to risk everything. I'm not going to risk my consignments, my ability to buy packs. But that would be a fun bet. I think I would win. I think I would win well before 3 years. But maybe not. And honestly, if what's the username again? I forget. I have a terrible memory. If the $10 Crown Zenith thing, if somebody said like, hey Dan, do you want to bet $1,000 that Crown Zenith will be 10 or more by next January? I might have taken that bet. I might have taken that bet and then hedged it by buying another 1,000 packs of Crown Zenith. So it's like, if I lose the $1,000 bet, I made $5,000 in Crown Zenith packs, right? Like, it would be fun, and it would have the ability to be hedged. If I lose this $5,000 bet, I am selling my boxes every year between now and the next 3 years for a lot more than I expected to. So I lose the bet, but I'm still doing well. It would be fun. It would be fun. So yeah, DMs are open, emails open if anyone wants to take that bet. When Mason made that video, I kind of remember the same video, and it wasn't just Mason. It was Mason, and I believed it. Like, I was on board with that. I think I could be quoted somewhere on my channel probably saying that, like, I don't think you'll ever see sub 100 again, and then I'll never be caught saying that again. I am as confident. I wouldn't hold that. Like, I wouldn't have died on that hill. I will lose $5,000 on this hill that it will happen again. Like, almost definitely. Almost guaranteed. Just joined. What do you think gonna happen to surging pack price after reprint? Big reprint, down a lot. Very small reprint, when we're pricing in a medium reprint, price will be flat or up. So it'll go anywhere between up, flat, or down, based on the size and the timing of the reprint. I don't know. You need to be very careful. One of the things people say and do is, like, sealed goes up. Sealed only goes up, just like the stock market. Like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola go up for like 60, 80, 100 years. This is a real product that, like, people are buying, consuming. A lot of people are, like, addicted to this stuff. In 50 years, I would bet a large sum of money that Coca-Cola will be a thing when I die. Similarly, I would bet a large amount of money, but a smaller large amount of money, that Pokemon will probably be a thing when I die, hopefully 50 plus years from now. But the thing is, for this stock to go up, you have a real product, you have a real business with real production facilities, with real employees, with real cash flows being generated. You have a 60-year history of increasing dividends year over year. You have cash flows, you have intrinsic value. This stuff, you have speculative collectible asset with intrinsic value of 0. This could go to 0, Pokemon could die, and the world wouldn't have to fundamentally change. Sure, Coca-Cola could go to 0, there could be some big scandal with a CEO, whatever. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. I would bet a lot that it's not happening. I own a bunch of Coca-Cola through my index funds. But when people say that just like a stock, it has to go up, that's just wrong. Like this has cash flows and real tangible assets and intrinsic value, whereas this stuff does not. It's fundamentally very different, and that people don't know that is scary. It's just scary, the things that people say and the things that people believe. I'm betting on Pokemon doing well. I think it will do well. I want it to do well. But say that, like stocks, it just slowly grows or quickly, like, that's just not true. People are not going to sell it for cheaper than they paid. So people are going to hold on until at least 300 come on for 151. This is such a dangerous thing to say, and it is factually incorrect. I promise you, Nick and I had Mason on PokeFlips a few years ago, back in 2021. $30 Battle Styles ETBs, $25 Battle Styles ETBs. Mason at the time had like 400 of them. I promise you, if it means keeping the lights on, if it means not being evicted, if it means feeding your family, people will sell at a loss. I sell things at a loss from time to time. People can and will forever sell speculative assets with intrinsic value 0. Like, people will sell things for less than they paid for them if they need the money, and if their sentiment changes, which consumer sentiment is very fickle. That's just, like, it's a crazy thing to say. I say that, like, respectfully, but this is dangerous and very, very wrong. Demonstrably wrong over so much of the history of Pokemon. Uh, yeah, I don't know what more to say. Do you feel like Pokemon has inherited sports card investors? It feels like the Pokemon market is feeling less clean, like the sports card industry evolved to then boxed out a broader group dying. Pokemon is free tendies right now. Pokemon is no punishment right now. Pokemon has people saying and believing wild, scary things. Pokemon is getting, I don't know if I'd call them sports card investors. I'd call them sports card speculators. Pokemon is getting people rushing into them for the free tendies, for the stonks. And at some point that ends badly. If it keeps, if the irrationality, if the irrational exuberance, if the we can't lose money goes on for too long, it's going to end really badly. And I hope it like ends less badly sooner because like some of the things that are being said in this very live chat are just so wrong and dangerous. I don't know. Um, that's no amount to reprint and no practically possible amount of reprint are two different things. I think people thinking Pokemon snaps a finger and generates product is just naive. I agree, Gump Brave, that I do not think any amount of Evolving Skies is coming. Being a 3-year-old set, going on 3 years old, I agree. But like people will say that like no one's ever gonna sell at a loss. Sealed only go up. There's no amount of 151 they could reprint that would make it go down. The amount they printed for Blooming Waters did not make it go down. Correct. I agree. That happened. That is a factual statement. But to say that like if they focus 90% of their printing efforts, and I think they're smarter than that. I don't think they're gonna do that. But the lack of punishment in the hobby is causing people to say and believe scary things. That's what I'll say. Um, I jumped to the bottom, but I'm scrolling up. I'm gonna go till I catch up. I'm a ways away from catching up again. Yes, reach out on Instagram or email or my website contact form, wherever. One thing you need to be careful of too. Retro's mostly memeing here, but he's actually buying packs though too, so he's not entirely memeing. People get really cozy. Like when I put out this buy list right now, I'm buying some sets at 80+%. Alex is buying some packs at 80+%. Very quickly, all of us can start buying at 75% and at 70%. And the market price can go down 20%, 30%. Like right now, everyone feels cozy because line goes up, I make money, I'm rewarded, my side bet hits on Match the Dealer. Can't do anything wrong. If and when it starts turning, it could turn quickly. And quickly, as quickly as my buy offer goes up for 80%, I can start buying at 70%. I can continue buying at 80% of a market price that dropped 30% week over week, month over month. Like, how do I reach these kids? I'm not going to reach these kids. Why am I trying to do this? Um, my number one fan. He's got the shrine, the Helga Pataki to my Arnold. He's I can't wait till Dan goes live. I'm gonna sit in Dan's live chat for 3 hours, and I'm just gonna try to be mean to him. I'm gonna try to poke him. Meanwhile, I'm his number one fan, but he'll never see the shrine that's in my closet. Thanks for being here, Helga Pataki. Um, I'm trying to grow my sealed collection. What do you consider to start investing in with 600? Are you growing a collection or an investment portfolio? You said collection, but then you said investing in. Buy what you enjoy is what I would say. Buy what you enjoy. Um, I mean, I heard on a live stream recently that Team Up is gonna surpass base set at some point, which it could. I'm not calling for it to do that, but like it's all arbitrary. All this stuff is arbitrary. Say you have a small loan of $1 million. From step to step, how would you explain to us your investment into Pokemon and flipping for profits? I would you could do live streaming. You could do live streaming where you buy at some percent of market and sell at some higher percent of market. Do you have the charisma to do it? I don't think I really do, so I hire other people to do it. I think PK and Pong are doing a great job with it. But you could buy bulk, like you could literally buy bulk. You could buy bulk for 1 cent a piece. You could go through it manually, and you could find the playable cards. You could sell out things on TCG Player, 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, $5 singles. Like you can buy raw and grade. Pick which one you want to do, or you can do some amount of all of them. You can do whatever you want. Like there's so many paths to do it. If you have the knowledge, if you have the experience. First step, stop watching PokeTube. Stop watching a lot of PokeTube. I think a lot of PokeTube is not going to help you get to where you want to go. The amount of newbies that know better than everyone else has been off the charts lately. I just sold a lot of sealed products and put 80% back on buying more stuff. Hope to hit 100K someday. I hope you hit 100K someday as well. I hope you hit 1 million someday as well. So if you're talking about an SAR, a suspicious activity report, those are generated for cash transactions of over $10,000. I've gone into a bank after a convention. I've deposited 20 or 30 grand in cash. That generates an SAR. Like, is this dude dealing drugs? No, better than drugs. I'm dealing cardboard crack. Because it's a large amount of cash, they look into money laundering. They look into whatever they look into. If you withdraw more than 10 grand in cash, is this guy going to buy drugs? Like, what's this guy doing? No, I'm just going to buy Pokemon cards. So an SAR is generated for 10K plus transactions in cash. An SAR is not generated, as far as I understand. I'm not a banking expert. I've never worked in banking, but this is my understanding of it. If I wire, just today, I wired $23,200 to someone to buy product for live streams. I wired for a rocket box and some other goodies for May. And that doesn't generate an SAR. It's a wire from one business bank account to another business bank account. I'm going to claim the expense towards my inventory. He's likely going to claim the whatever net profit he made on that inventory. And yeah, like no SAR, no 1099, but it's all still has to be reported. Self-reported honor system, basically. And then if they audit you and you are intentionally, obviously evading taxes, that's where jail time happens. That's where like people go to jail over tax evasion, when they're blatantly evading taxes. Please do not evade taxes. Let's see. This is not a 0-calorie beverage. This is a Coca-Cola. First time in stream, what type of questions can we ask you? Ideally pertaining to Pokemon, but sometimes we talk about other things. You can ask me anything. I will never be offended by someone asking a question. I will answer almost anything about Pokemon. I will answer a lot of stuff about personal life and random things too. I will not answer anything, but I will answer most things. How long do you think Prismatic will be printed? Approximately 2 years, as most sets have historically. Dan, I have a question. What's the best way to sell sealed and get paid the quickest, not involving in-person sales? I sell through Probstein. So Probstein does sealed consignments and slabs and stuff as well. But you can pack up a box. He doesn't do, like, I do Fanatics. I do Fanatics consignments, which is only Thursday to Sunday, 10-day auctions they do. James, ENG Emporium, does Sunday to Sunday. Probstein does whenever. I think in the Pokemon space, so many people get so married to like it has to end on Sunday. I think it's silly. I've auctioned through Probstein, surging cases. I I've done evolving cases before through Probstein. But ending on a Wednesday night, ending on a Tuesday, Monday, I've always been happy with how they've ended. And I just shipped 8 cases to him today. 2 boxes of 4 cases each. I think they'll be listed by like, they could be listed. He'll get them tomorrow because I'm close to him. He's in New Jersey. I'm in New York. He might get them tomorrow. They could be listed Friday night. I might be getting paid like, a week and a half to 2 weeks. That's faster than if you use me. That's faster than if you use James. And we don't even do sealed. So Probstein is solid for that stuff. Let's Dan, if you were to make up a single unsubstantiated claim about retro that you never had to expand on, what would it be? I would not do that towards a friend in the hobby. I would not do that towards a fellow business partner in the hobby. He's done that every live for the past 3 years, Eric. Just throw a dart at the board. Oh, God. Let's see. I was getting all SV booster boxes in the 70s a year ago. We will go sub 100 again. No one will ever sell for a loss. Sealed only goes up. All these things are irrational, demonstrably false. Like, just rooted in fairy tale land where sealed only goes up, and it's scary. How common, how prevalent that sentiment is so scary. What other collectibles did you do business in? I've done video games. I used to buy and sell. I used to buy broken PS3s, repair them, and then sell them. I used to buy and sell the games. I used to buy and sell N64 games, Game Boy games, a lot of Nintendo stuff, but also PlayStation 3 for whatever reason. The genesis to that was my PlayStation 3 broke. I fixed it, and I realized that like I could make money doing that. I've done Steins, I've done coins, I've done trading cards. I think that's all of them. For collectibles. If I'm gonna pick a random name, I feel like the random name that I pick is always just gonna be Nick by default, because I talk with him every other week, so it's like he probably's not listening to my lives anyways. But if he has a problem, we can talk about it. We can squash the beef this Friday on PokeFlips. Sam says, I got CZ ETBs last year at 40 bucks. So happy I did. I got 5 more left. I only have a few cases. I can't remember how many are on the pallet. Let me see. Pallet 1 has only 4 Crown Zenith ETB cases. I think I have 2 that are not on the pallet. So I have 2 are my dad's, 2 are mine on the pallet, and then 2 are mine off the pallet, I believe. Let's Pokemon can do well. Modern sales can continue to do well. That doesn't mean oversaturation cannot happen, and it ends up not being investable. The Godly Shad, you're bringing too much logic into this. Only go up. Just because it go up doesn't mean it was an optimal investment. Yeah, opportunity cost. Dan, will you ever quit your soda addiction? I'm actually, this is crazy. I have a kegerator that I've not had a keg of beer in for like, I don't think I have at my new house. I have a kegerator that I bought like 10 years ago at my original house. I had a bar in my garage. It's in my garage. I intend to build a bar around it and integrate it into it someday, but I just haven't done it yet. I've not had a keg in that since I've been in the new house. 5 years I've been in the new house. So I have a CO2 bottle. People familiar with soda streams, sparkling water, you just inject carbon dioxide into water. I've been manually making sparkling water as an experiment. You literally just you pipe the CO2 into a soda bottle. You put 50 pounds of CO2 into a soda bottle. Blows my mind. I did not know that plastic soda bottles could hold 50 pounds of pressure, but they can. You shake it up a bunch, and then you carbonate the water. I've been making my own sparkling water by like 2 liters at a time. I'm gonna get like a corny keg, they call it. It's for home brewing. It's for like home making soda. I'm gonna make my own sparkling water and have it on tap. It'll never go flat because it'll be pressurized with CO2, and it'll just be there. At some point, when I get my sparkling water, I'm gonna have to add a 6th keg of some beer too, because the fact that I haven't had a beer in a kegerator in 5 years, it's dark, it's wild. I need to put all new lines in it because the lines are like moldy and old. But I'm manually making. I bought a special cap that pipes CO2 in, and you screw down to the 2 liter. You shake it up a bunch, or you let it sit overnight pressurized, and then you get sparkling water. Yeah. So I still do though. Likely, I like to have the high test from time to time. But the main thing I drink lately is sparkling water with a little bit of lemon. People were betting on coins, comics, etc. Just like most people are here. Hindsight is 2020 in these combos. Yes, but Pokemon is not coins. Pokemon is not comics. Godly Shad, you know that I'm not making that argument, but people think like Pokemon is just better, and it's the #1 grossing media franchise of all time. Pokemon is better. Comics suck. Coins suck. Like everything else sucks. Pokemon is the exception, and maybe it will prove to be. Pokemon could prove to outpace the S&P 500 every year for the next 100 years. It could, but like it also could not. And I will join you, the average Pokemon investor YouTube content consumer. Is better. I will join you in admitting that it could do that, and it has done that for a bunch of the time. Will you join me though in admitting that it might not? The amount of people that have no skin in the game that just think like it has to happen. It will happen. It is scary. I've said the same thing 1,000 times. You can definitely tell who's been in the hobby for a minute or two. Ray sells at a loss all the time. Go tune into my Fanatics Live affiliate link below. $25 when you sign up. Use code Catchman20. $45 when you sign up. I sell stuff every single day on Fanatics. I sell something at a loss. Dollar auction, it goes for what it goes for. I don't sell buy it nows at a loss on there. But like, if we get a massive reprint, say I have, let's not say I have, let's just look at what I have. Let's look at Surging Sparks right now. I have about, I sold 2,000 packs of Surging. I have about 1,000 packs of Surging left. My average cost basis on my 1,000 packs of Surging is probably like $6 or $7 a pack. It's high. If a reprint comes that gives me 40 cases at $90 a box, I'll be selling at a loss for those 1,000 packs. I just will. And if you're doing first in, first out, if you're doing last, whatever way you're doing your inventory, I do first in, first out. So I would, and I have, and I will continue to sell at losses when it makes sense. It's scary that people think that's not a thing. This is literally what's wrong with the hobby. This is too funny. Oversaturation was the reason why comics did not thrive. People think way too short term. Like BK Ponga, we have ripped in 2025. We have ripped. Watch my video on Monday. We've ripped 30,000 packs. 30,000 packs in 2 months. We're on pace for almost 200,000 packs in 2025. I agree. Pokemon good. Many Pokemon make many money. Line go up. Good, green, rocket, all that good stuff. I'm on the same page. But like that people think that's the only possible outcome. That people think it can't go down. That people think that it's all a certainty. That is where it gets scary. Because if this irrational exuberance continues, and if Pokemon is printing 20 billion next year, and 30 billion next year, and 50 billion the next year, at some point it will fail spectacularly. I promise you. I think we'll get a minor punishment. We need those. Every couple of years, we need people to get punished. We need people to lose a bunch of money. Otherwise, if it becomes a sure thing, an investment that can't go down, the proper amount of money to pay for an investment that can't go down is like infinity dollars. If this stuff truly can't go down, you should pay any amount of money for it. It just can't fundamentally work that way. Um, how do I reach these kids? How am I still in business? I'm gonna get a base set box and rent it out to people to put in the back of their videos. Oh, the history of Pokemon has a huge dark period where no one cared. That isn't where we are. It's a dangerous assumption that will change out of nowhere. That will change out of nowhere. Um, oh man, chat is wildin'. I'm 20 minutes behind. My favorite is reprints can never do anything. Like, how can you even remotely say that? Just echoing every Poke investor on YouTube. People doubting the biggest IP printing capacity is funny. I've heard people say, like, pop doesn't matter. When people say pop doesn't matter, that is the most. I need to be careful with my choice of words. That is the most. I don't want to offend anyone that I'm not targeting. If you say and believe that pop doesn't matter, and a lot of people will point to a card like this, I agree. The pop is very large, and the price of the card has gone up very much in the past few months. It's kind of dipping down in the past few weeks, but I agree that, like, even though supply is very high, demand has outpaced that in the past 6 months. But to say supply doesn't matter, pop doesn't matter, is just wrong. The supply demand equilibrium is what matters and what determines the market price. But I promise you, this is a BGS 9.5. It's not a PSA 10. But if this was a PSA 10 and the pop is like 30,000, I promise you, if the demand was the same and the pop was half, the price would be higher because pop matters, supply matters, and that's how it works. I promise you, if the pop was 10 times as much as it is and the demand was the same, pop matters, supply matters, the supply demand equilibrium matters, the price would be lower. But like, I understand what people are saying. I like, the dangerous thing is some people say pop doesn't matter and they actually believe it. Some people actually believe that like 50 years from now, every card that's pop 10,000 in today's era that's doing well will continue to do well 50 years from now. And stuff that's 70 years old then, 75 years old then, with pops that are like 10% or less of that are just trash because, like, I'm never going to reach these kids. I don't know why I try. I'm gonna stop trying. I'm gonna try to catch up. I'm gonna try to catch up. Oh my god, there's so many comments. Yes, the fact that people say supply doesn't matter, pop doesn't matter is wrong, and it's scary. The amount that people say these are like companies that go up. The people say these can't go down. All this stuff is very dangerous. This, and I'm not saying Pokemon is Beanie Babies. This stuff was said about like Beanie Babies. This stuff is like, this is what speculative mania, speculative bubbles. This is what irrational exuberance is. Um, Y'all want to pontificate in chat, but won't hit the like button. This is your last chance, or I'm banning you forever from bearded rants. Oh man. Here we go. Everyone is allowed to have their own perspective, but like, you can't have the perspective that 2 + 2 is 5. That is not allowed. That is not an opinion. 2 plus 2 is 5 is a false statement of fact. The fact behind that is 2 plus 2 is 4. When people say that like people don't sell for a loss, that is wrong. That is saying 2 plus 2 is 5. You can't have that opinion because it's just a false statement of fact. Like it might be kind of harsh, but I don't think it is. That is just factually incorrect. We need to be careful. I think society's gotten to a point where all opinions are valid, and you can't have the opinion that the earth is flat. That is demonstrably false. That is wrong. That is dangerous and scary that people think that is true in 2025. Oh man. If people think vintage hasn't gone up at all, that's just wild and wrong. Not all of it, but hey Arnold, move it, football head. I swear to Arceus, if I hear another one of you talking about how cool you are for having a low cost basis on your sealed, and I find out you haven't hit the like button, you are cooked. Oh man. I buy what I like. If it appreciates, awesome. I hope Pokemon heavily reprints everything from Sun and Moon base to now consistently for 10 plus years. Don't care if it kills the market in card shops. I want product. I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Who is even listening to this sage? I'm a degenerate. I drink vanilla Coke. Have a good night. I'm gonna try to avoid turning the lights red tonight. I'm not feeling red lights. You get offended by questions all the time. Quit lying. Probe scene is massive. Over 100 million a year. Yes. I think the long pause is when he sees my comments and decides to read another one like 50% of the time. Oh man. Which WotC sets do you think is underrated? Doesn't have to be about market value, just in general. One of the first things I did when I got back into the hobby, I opened a box of everything. I didn't open base set first edition, but I opened base set unlimited and then every other first edition set. Some of my favorites. So I think it's properly rated in some respects. Like I don't think it's undervalued. I don't think the price should be higher than it is today. But I truly Kanto base set, like I think base set relative to a lot of things in modern, relative to an $80,000 Cheetozard, I think base set is like underrated in some ways. Like it is the first, it is historic, blah blah blah, nobody cares. Pop doesn't matter, only demand matters. WotC sucks. That's what people think and say. But why slash banks are cheeks? When will we be able to transact through crypto 100% of the time? Why bank no like businesses? I hate banks. I've done the rants many times. I will do more rants in the future. Dang, Dan says something nice and then immediately reads my snarky comment. Yes, good timing. Have any good feuds? Oh yeah, so like a quick recap of Chicago. We'll probably talk about it on PokeFlips because I met up with Nick. But I flew in. Ponga picked me up from the airport early in the morning. For lunch, we got chicken wings at like a grocery store, which for grocery store chicken wings, they were pretty good. I forget what the grocery store was called. They had a Pokemon vending machine that was fully sold out. We grabbed some beers for that night. We for dinner before stream, Ponga's wife picked up like shaved beef sandwiches, like just beef sandwiches, not like a Philly cheesesteak, but like a beef sandwich. I had one at what the place was called last time I went to Chicago, which was really good. This place was good too. Saturday, we went to lunch with Vandy. We met up with Nick and Vandy. No, Friday. I'm mixing up my days. I was there Thursday and Friday. Friday we went for, I had chicken wings for lunch, leftover chicken wings. Friday we went to lunch. I had nachos there. And then Friday night for dinner, we got pizza. So it was good food. Good food while I was there. I'm near Syracuse. How much does a bot cost? Because I need one. I've never used one. When are you venturing into brewing? I'm gonna make some of my own sparkling water, some of my own soda, but home brewing, I think I'll do that. I think that'll be like a early retirement, like hobby thing I do on the side. As a problem soda drinker, I've looked into my own machine. The economics don't make sense versus convenience store McD larges. So if I'm making my own sparkling water, my cost will like maybe I'll talk about it in a video. Maybe I'll throw it in a end of a spreadsheet presentation video because not everyone wants that. Not everyone wants that right now either. But I will be able to make 5 gallons of sparkling water. I live in out in the woods. I have a well. I would be able to make 5 gallons of sparkling water for like $1 or less than whatever the lemon water costs. And then the CO2 is almost nothing. I have a 5-pound tank of CO2 that would carbonate. I'll have to do the math on how much water that will carbonate. But man is so addicted to soda, he's now making it from scratch. Harry Pokeball says, just a friendly reminder, Mr. Big Beard can read to everyone here. Max out your damn Roth IRA before speculative investing, such as Pokemon. Be safe, be smart, not financial advice. Thank you. Thank you, Harry Pokeballs. I will grow my employer-sponsored matching funds, pay down high-interest debt, savings for retirement in an IRA, and higher education expenses, save more money for retirement, and then I play in the more speculative stuff. Here is crypto and Pokemon and degeneracy, doing side bets at the casino on a Tuesday night. Japanese products is the answer. Japanese products is subject to the same supply and demand things like English is. Surging was $100 a box before release. So many people think it was always really expensive. It wasn't. Correct. Surging Sparks was accessible for multiple weeks and in multiple months of pre-orders for way below MSRP. If you sold Vivid Voltage, you'd make $1 after fees and shipping after 4 to 5 years, or you'd lose money. You'd lose money if you bought it at 200 plus, which some people did. Some people invest in it at 200 plus. Some people are investing in $250 Surging right now, and they might make money. People might make money investing in $250 Surging right now. Hawk coin thing. Hawk to a coin. Yeah. Aiden, do we think distribution will sell 15% under market value on these reprints and thus keep the market up? Rip and shippers keep spam buying at market to sell even higher. Will it end? It will end. It will end at some point. I'm confident in that. I'm so confident that I placed a $5,000 bet that no one took. I think a main set booster box will be available sub $100 in the next 3 years. I think that's like $5 grand is like a low amount of money that I would place on that. I should be willing to place a lot higher bet on that. But I think Prismatic. I think Prismatic in the next 6 to 24 months will be available for sub like 7 or 8 a pack. Hopefully, and I think it will get to sub MSRP, but Prismatic could be the first one to not do it. Hidden Fates got there, Champion's Path got there, every set got there eventually, sub MSRP for some amount of time. But Prismatic could be the first one to not do it, but I'd be surprised. I get berated by people telling me I'm crazy because I always say enjoy this market while it's here. It won't last forever. I speculate. To sub MSRP, I speculate quite confidently that most people that have issue with you making that statement have been here 6 weeks to 6 months, 6 hours to 6 months. The amount of confidence in people that have been here for 6 weeks is just too damn high. No, we need lots of people to lose money, myself included. I have a massive Pokemon inventory right now. If what I'm saying comes true, I will lose hundreds of thousands of dollars likely on paper, right? I won't necessarily realize all those losses. But the thing is, like, I have this level of inventory. If prices go down 30% across the board, I'll maintain roughly this level of inventory. I'll be selling the same monthly, weekly, maybe a little bit less, because if the market goes down, like, if price goes down, people want to buy less, as it should be the opposite of that, but it isn't. I'll still be buying though at 70 to 80% of a lower price, and I'll be selling at 110% of a lower price. I'll constantly be making margin. Is there going to be a 151 reprint? I don't know. We just got Blooming Waters. I don't know if we're gonna get more though. No, Gump Brave, you are a very intelligent person, but you're falling for something that is incorrect. Pop matters, demand matters more. No, wrong. Pop matters, demand matters. What matters most though, what matters more than any of it, is the ratio, is the ratio of supply to demand. Demand does not matter more. Supply does not matter more. The only thing that matters is the ratio between the two. There could be one of something. There could be a supply very, very low of something. If there's zero demand and there's one supply, the ratio between them, demand over supply, is zero, right? If there's demand for 100,000 and there's only 1,000, the demand over supply is 100 to 1. The ratio is what matters. Demand does not matter more. Supply does not matter more. It is the ratio, the only thing that matters. People say supply doesn't matter, only demand matters. No, the ratio of demand to supply to demand, like that is what that is what matters. Full stop, no nuance, black and white. I am constantly on the fence. I am constantly like gray area, nuance. It's not binary. It's not black and white. This is black and white. Going back what I said earlier, 2 plus 2 is 4. The Earth is a spheroid. It is not flat. People can, do, have, will continue to sell things for less than they paid for them if they have to. These are absolute truths. Full stop. No room for debate. That's rare. That's rare that Dan will hop off the fence, put his foot in the ground, and say something like that. A declarative statement so firmly. Going back what I said earlier. I got my allocations for reprints. Only 4 boosters of Surging and Twilight, 10 Paldea Fates booster bundles, and 1 display of Kanto, for instance. I don't know why I get my stuff so late. I might not even get anything. My distros don't like me. Pop alone doesn't matter that much. Pop does not matter if demand is higher. Everyone saying everything they're saying, it's like supply to demand. Supply to demand. Stop saying only supply, only demand. Supply to demand. The ratio is what matters. Always. That's always what matters. There wouldn't be high pop without high demand. There could be, because there's anticipation of demand that doesn't end up materializing. There could be a pop that's way higher than demand because the fickle consumer changes their mind on things, or a business goes balls to the wall, grades 10,000 of a promo themselves. I guarantee you there's an individual businesses out there that have graded 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 promos themselves of a card, and anticipating a demand, and then it doesn't pan out, and then they get wrecked. Like, that stuff happens. That stuff has happened, will continue to happen. We're not entirely independent, but like, things can happen to where supply pop way outpaces demand because of a bad spec, basically. In some ways, it's good to have these long caveat conversations, but on the other side, you're going to have more people feeling resentful that PokeTubers told them to sit on their hands instead of printing. Well, it's dumb. Like, if people say, like, it might go down, it could go down, and then it goes up, people are like, Dan was wrong. I listened to Dan, and I'm not telling you to not buy. I'm not telling you to sell. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying logical, rational facts. And some people get mad about that. Some people say, like, Dan didn't tell me to buy everything, and things went up. Like, ooh, boo-hoo, I'm a victim. You are everything that's wrong with society. Like if you hear someone say, nobody knows, it might go up, might go down, and you hear that as like, I'm a little baby, and I need you to hold my hand and tell me what to buy that's going to go up, and you didn't do that. You failed me. I'm a victim. You're my boogeyman. You are what's wrong with society, if that is you. Over certain... It's crazy. How do I reach these kids? I will not reach these kids. I don't know how the lights haven't been red, because like it's mostly been red light. Can't learn how to ride a bike without scraping your knee. We're all adults here. Next. We're all adults here, except for except for the constant crying and victimhood about, ooh, MSRP. Like, we have adults that are crying about MSRP and, ooh, scalping. Like, Retro wants the red lights. Let's see. You're allowed to have an opinion, but it can't be wrong. I don't know if that's... I said you're allowed to have opinions on things that are open to opinions. Certain things are not. You can't have an opinion on what 2 + 2 is. It is a fact that it is 4. Like, wait, the earth isn't flat. Waiting for the red lights. Almost all product has gone up to today. Yes, that is a factual statement we can make looking back. We could quantify that exactly. We could look at the Wayback Machine. We could quantify from charts, but to say that all of it will go up, to say that past performance is indicative of future results, those things are speculation. Those things have risk. Those things are not guaranteed to repeat. But like, everyone's an adult. Do whatever the hell you want to do. I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm taking a lot of risk. I've made a lot of money in Pokemon. I've lost money on some things. Overall, I've made a lot of money. Most of my net worth was made from getting lucky, and hoarding Pokemon, collecting Pokemon. And then the boom happened. And then since, I've done a lot of smart things too to like concrete it. And in hindsight, I should have been riskier. I should have not taken as much money off the table. I could have multiples of my net worth. But do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, I don't care that much. Just don't say things that are that like brainless. Don't say things that are that like, have a brain, rub a couple brain cells together. Don't say that 2 + 2 is 5, please. I can't even get my camera straight. Earth, def, not flat. Science. Oh, man. The crazy thing is that Dan generally gives such good advice and the kids just don't want to hear it. The thing is, like, if I'm not saying everything is going to double, people just don't want to hear that. Like, people want to hear you're going to make a ton of money. People don't want to hear that there's risk. When Vivid Voltage was 200, when first edition EVs were 1,000, I said, these are risky. These might go up higher. These might go down lower. I don't know. I'm selling mine. When Evolutions was 500, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm selling most of mine. I sold a bunch at 200, a bunch more at 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. I was mostly sold out by 1,000. I'm keeping one box. I'm keeping one box forever, just to remember those times. I'm keeping one of these forever to remember those times. When I was selling these for 300, 400, 500, I said, I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm selling mine. I was wrong to sell mine at 400 because they went up. I was wrong to sell mine at 500 because they went up. Wrong to sell them at 600. Wrong to sell them at 700. They went to 800. They hit, and now they're coming down. Was I right to sell them at 800? Or in 6 months or a year, will there be 1,000? They could be. There's paths to that. But, like, I don't know. I'm taking my money out and I'm putting it elsewhere. And I'm churning and I'm filling my buckets. And I'm doing what I want to do. I'm telling people why I'm doing what I'm doing. People tell me, like, people who don't have Pokemon tell me I should invest in Pokemon because it only goes up. Like, I know what it might do. I know what it has done. I've been here. I've been here 11 years. I know what it don't tell me what it has done. I've been here. You've been here 11 days. You've been here 11 weeks. You've been here 11 months. Some people have been here longer than me, longer than 11 years. I've been here 11 years, and the amount of times that I hear people that have $50, $500, $5,000, $50,000, $500,000, I don't care what amount. I don't care if you have $50 million in Pokemon. None of them do. Spoilers. But the amount of people that have told me or told the world that, like, this does this. This will do this. What are we doing? What are we doing here? It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, base set was widely available at $40 a box in 2003, 2004 timeframe. Base set peaked at $40,000 ish in 2020, 2021. Now it's like it went down to like 13. Now it's back at like 18. I had Pongalos at the airport. Yes, it wasn't public. It was did it have like diamond or gem or it had something like jewel? Jewel. Is there a grocery store chain in Chicago with like jewel in it or something? I sent Dan a picture of wings with homemade sauce and he just responded, too many vegetables. Ron Swanson, there will be no effing vegetables. Yeah. It's almost midnight and we're talking in sparkling water. Everyone get to bed, please. I need to catch up with chat. Fill those buckets with your sparkling water. I'm trying to catch up. Vivid Voltage ETBs will be 300 a box in my lifetime. I agree. I think they'll be 300 a box in my lifetime as well. I plan on living till 2150. Canadian distro selling all the reprint booster boxes between 170 to 190 for anyone wondering. Plenty of margin there for everyone. Just me, or is there a high beta between bears using the phrase irrational exuberance and quitting their jobs to do Pokemon full time? For me to be called a bear is so wild. Like, some of my sentiment saying that Pokemon could go down and I get called bearish. I get called bearish having half my net worth in Pokemon to the tune of like 7 figures. I get called bearish by people who have 2 cases of booster boxes under their bed. What world are we living in? And I'm not saying Retro has 2 cases of booster boxes under his bed, but like there are PokeTubers, there are people in my comments, there are people in my live chat that will call me bearish because I say surging. Like Crown Zenith might not be 10. Like I can see, I would be surprised if Crown Zenith went double in a year, and I'm bearish for saying that when I have. It's just wild to me. It's so insane to me, some of the things that are said. Maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. What's the optimal ratio of carbonation of water in our sparkling water portfolio? I go for, so a soda bottle, don't go above like 80. I think they say 80 pounds is like the safe. But my regulator on my kegerator can only go to 60. So I set my regulator like 55 pounds and I carbonate that soda quick. I carbonate that soda real quick. I think Coke is something like 35 to 40 pounds. If I let me just Google it. We're here. What PSI are Coke cans pressurized to? Coke is 17. No, 55 PSI. So Coke is 55 PSI. 55 PSI absolute versus gauge pressure. So 17 PSI G, which with atmospheric pressure added in, about 55 PSI. I'm doing my soda about 55, so similar to Coke. I like my bubbly. I like mine very bubbly. Stock, crypto, 401k, all boring. Pokemon exciting. Turn them on, baby. This is Peak Dan, and I'm here for it. People said the same thing about Moonbryon. Demand one again. I mean, I heard people confident that it was going to 10,000. I heard people confidently say that it was marching straight to 10,000. Isn't it down to like 2,300 now from 3,000, from more than 3,000? Look up Umbreon VMAX 215. The confidence with which people say things is just bananas. Who have almost no skin in the game. All talk, no walk. What is it? What's the other saying? Big hat? No. Something about like a cowboy saying. Big hat, little. big hat, little cattle is like it's like a cowboy saying about like all talk, no walk. It's an American Western expression that describes someone who appears to be important but lacks substance. Someone who appears to have authority but doesn't have experience or skills to back it up. There are a lot of Pokemon. I call them cosplay investors. I call them all talk, no walk. There are a lot of big hat, no cattle Poketubers in the space. Absolutely. Like, just another way to say the same thing. I say the same thing so many times. I need to think of fresh new ways to say them. Maybe I will reach. If there are any people in my chat that didn't vibe with, they didn't understand when I said all talk, no walk. They didn't understand when I said cosplay investors. There's at least one person out of the few thousand that will listen to this. I will pick up one new person. I will have reached one new kid with big hat, little cattle. So that's why I try to find all these different sayings. What if we just wanted Dan to hold our hand? Where are we at? If it wasn't clear, I dislike blanket statements and agree that kind of simple thinking is dangerous, but there's nuance here. There's always nuance. Well, I say that. There's not nuance in 2 + 2 = 4. There's not nuance in certain things. You're saying something wrong, though. Gump Brave. Most product has gone up. Yes. If you say most product goes up, no. Be more specific. Most Pokemon product on March 6, 2025, in hindsight, has gone up. I think most will continue to go up. Yes, I agree with you there. I think most will. But to say that most product goes up, that is so broad, that is so vague. Most TCGs that have launched have failed. Pokemon survived, Yu-Gi-Oh! Survived, Magic survived. Most things have gone to zero. Most speculative collectibles in the last 100 years have gone to zero. I can't rattle off a ton of names because like most of them are irrelevant today. Relevance can wax and wane. I think Pokemon will still be relevant 30 years from now. I think and hope it will be relevant 50 or 100 years from now. But it's not a given. It is not a given. To say most product goes up, you're not 100% fact. Most product has gone up, 100% fact. I think most product will, subjective opinion, might be right, might be wrong. That is not 100% fact. That is insane to say. That is insane to say. Don't Brave. Star Wars was the largest IP in the world in 2008. I gotta stop making tongue-in-cheek jokes because I forget Dan takes meme comments serious. You remember when I started talking about Stein variants? It gets dark when people make memes because then I take them as a serious comment. Yes, 0 sets. We are speaking on March 6, 2025, at the peak hype, peak everything in Pokemon's existence. Yes, at like, and maybe the peak is. I'm not saying we're at the absolute pinnacle ever. The true peak could be like 100 years in the future, 100 times higher than we are. That's a speculative opinion that could happen. That's not a fact. But like, yes, if you are saying like even the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is at or near all-time highs. I'm more confident that the S&P 500 will continue to march to all-time highs. More confident than I am that Pokemon Seal will continue to go up. I'm fairly confident in the medium and short term both will go up. I'm much more confident in the long term, 50 years, 100 years, 500 years, that the S&P 500 will continue to go up. The world would fundamentally change for that to go down, for that to go to zero. Would fundamentally change the Earth. For this to go to zero, the world doesn't have to fundamentally change. We just have to stop liking Pokemon. I don't think it's happening. People just can't understand nuance. Like, you're talking about nuance, and then you're not understanding the nuance that I'm trying to say. I finally got my answer, now I can sleep. Well, if you think Pokemon can only go up because past Pokemon went up, that's just wrong. Yes. In fact, it's almost certainly probable that Pokemon will go down. Someday, between now and the heat death of the universe, I think Pokemon will cease to exist. I do not think Pokemon will, what do they call it? The big rip, the big tear, we had the big bang that started it all. The theory, the prevailing theory. The big rip, I believe. Like the heat death of the universe, like density 0, everything is expanded, and then we just like have, yeah. However the universe dies, Pokemon will be dead too when the universe dies. Before that, even, only a few billion years from now, unless we get out of this galaxy, which we might, the Pokemon market might take us out of this galaxy, and we might survive the sun going supernova because Pokemon carried us to a new galaxy. Hopefully that happens. If PokeTubers are right, we will survive 4 billion years from now, 5 billion years from now, when the sun supernovas and engulfs planet Earth. We will already be in another galaxy carried by Team Rocket Set. So we're fine. We're gonna be fine. I'm trying to get caught up. All hat, no cattle. Big hat, no cattle. I think there's different ways to say it. Good night, all my sparkling water degens. Oh man, that's hilarious. An Italian beef. Yes, an Italian beef is what I had, and I had jewel wing. Big man in a little coat. Oh man, big man, little coat. That's yes, that's Chris Farley, Tommy Boy. Yes. I was gonna say it, but I'm like, I need to make sure this is actually right. Fat guy in a little coat. Oh, I haven't watched Tommy Boy in so long. Small town girl living in a lonely world. Uh yes, Gump Brave, please, please bring us videos. I know you're the same Gump Brave, Gump piece from Oaks Discord. The amount of, and I think you're dictating a lot. You're doing text to speech. I don't think you're typing it all. But the amount of effort and energy you put into some conversations in Oaks Discord, bring some of that to YouTube. I'm all for it. I'll subscribe. Have you made any wrong decisions that should have ended Catch 'em All Collectibles, but you got lucky? I have never made a decision that risked ending Catch 'em All Collectibles because I don't do anything on credit. I don't do anything on margin. I don't make any singular bet that big. In hindsight, there's some bets that I should have made bigger. I should have mortgaged my house in hindsight. There are people, this is what gets funny. There are people that owned one of these back in October. They owned one of these because they knew it was going to triple. It then tripled, and they were right. I bought 400 of these, knowing that it could triple, attributing a very small percentage to that. In hindsight, I should have mortgaged my house. There were 6 cases of these available, 5 or 6, I forget how many. I should have bought them all, and I would have made $500,000+ People that knew it was obvious, it's definitely going to triple, didn't buy. They had one of them. They had none of them, and they knew it was going to triple. Like, what are we doing here? It's so dumb. All this. TCG players need to be jailed. 5 proxies and 10 damage cards this last round. Give me a single example of a Pokemon product over 10 years old that went down. We are talking from the peak of Pokemon's existence. We're talking in a year where they just printed 13 million cards, and the hype, the mania, the stonking. Yes, at an all-time high period, everything is up. Thank you. Like, this is an obvious statement. To say that because everything's up, it can only continue to go up is just wild, speculative opinion. Let's see. I have a juicer video idea now. Thank you, Gump Daniel. Retrospecs feeding the streets. Thank you, Retrospecs. Bring us that video. Our savior, Arceus, will protect us from the supernova. But says President Whale Cabal. Oh, I better not hear no Giovanni slander or the Blix will come out. It has gone up. So you're making the statement that it's guaranteed that every Pokemon product released today will be worth more at some point far enough in the future. That's just wrong. Like that's not a statement of fact. They could be. I hope they will be, but in 500 years, 1,000 years, like I'm not going to reach this kid, so I'm gonna stop. Dan, don't shave your beard until we stop booming. I don't want to shave it that soon. I mean, uh, it's not just stuff go down. It's when stuff goes stagnant and ready to go down that people get wrecked. Name a product that went down over 10 years prior to the boom then. I was around from 2014 to today. So from 1999 to 2009, there wasn't any, like I've actually done the deep dive. There was no booster box in 2009 that was cheaper than it was in 1999. But was there not any singular product? I feel like there was, but sealed products we're talking about primarily. I'm just curious how you were able to buy a case of Van Gogh Pikachu like that. I had a large bag of money and I transacted it for a large case of Van Goghs. So what I heard was, ideally these were intended to be distributed one by one at the Van Gogh museums. What I heard was, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that there was like one of the stores, I forget which stores these went through. One of those stores closed and was going bankrupt or whatever, or the owner was going bankrupt. These cases went to like a storage locker sale basically, and someone bought like a bankruptcy liquidity auction that included the store's inventory and these, which I don't know if that story is true or not, but that's what I heard. That's why I heard that happened the way that it did. If that's true, maybe that was made up to avoid the drama. I don't know. Yeah, how's it going, Mertz? I hope Nick reached out to you. I asked Nick to reach out to all the Chicago people. We did end up seeing Vandy on Friday. I was hoping to see Mertz. I was hoping to see Pokesmoke. I was hoping to see Mr. Walrus, everyone. But I got to see Ponga, Nick, and Vandy. Didn't get to see Mertz, unfortunately. Like Pokemon could die in the next 50, but we might outlive Pokemon. If people say that there's like a 0% chance that Pokemon dies in the next 30 years, 50 years, that's crazy. You have to attribute some percentage. I agree. Less than a 1% chance it dies within 10 years. Less than a 5% chance it dies within 25 or 30 years. But when people say like 0, that's just crazy. We might discover fusion energy. We might discover the ability to like get outside of our solar system. We might discover light speed travel. Like it to say with certainty that Pokemon, this silly little thing with all these little characters will 100% exist in 30 years is just a level of confidence you can't have. In hindsight, you will probably be correct in that Pokemon will see its 60th anniversary, but it's not a certainty. Mertz will be back soon. That's good. I fully caught up, I think. Yes, I fully caught up. So I appreciate everyone hanging out. Yeah, I fully caught up. So no, Pokemon could die in the next 30 years without a nuclear World War III, without a zombie apocalypse. If you say there's 0 chance Pokemon dies in the next 30 years, we just disagree. I think Pokemon, I would bet a lot of money, $1,000, $10,000. Flip me, quote me, 30 years from now, I bet 5 grand Pokemon exists in 30 years. But there's a chance it doesn't. If someone gave me 10 million to 1 odds, I will place $1 wager on that, sir. I will place $1 wager that Pokemon dies within the next 30 years. To quote a wise man, Kevin from The Office, if anyone gives you 10,000 to 1 odds, I'm talking 10 million to 1 odds here, you take that bet. You always take that bet. Pokemon first birthday, love to hear that. That's good. Pokemon's booming, guaranteed to live forever. You said that everything will be up. I'm not gonna reach this kid. I'm not gonna reach this kid. I'm gonna end there. I don't end. I have more work to do. I appreciate everyone hanging out. I'm gonna wrap it there. It's been a wild, fun stream. Dangerous sentiment out there. Crazy sentiment out there. People spouting factually incorrect things. People out here saying 2 + 2 is 5, but it's all 5.